The chairman of a UN climate summit in Azerbaijan launches the meeting with another prediction of catastrophe.
The two-week UN climate negotiations, COP29, opened with a speech from its president, Mukhtar Babayev, warning of the dire predicament the world's in.
Colleagues, we are on the road to ruin, but these are not the future problems. Climate change is already here.
Curbing and coping with climate change's worsening heat, floods, droughts and storms is a vast cost. The focus then is striking a new deal on how many hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars a year will flow from rich nations to poor ones to try to curb and adapt to climate change. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
China's Singles Day online shopping festival looks somewhat less attractive this year amid a sluggish economy, forcing e-commerce firms to look abroad for growth. News and analysis, townhall.com. A Wisconsin State Supreme Court ruling on an 1849 abortion ban is expected to take weeks, but it's considered little more than a formality.
Liberal justices control the Wisconsin Supreme Court, so abortion rights advocates stand an excellent chance of winning. But Sheboygan County District Attorney Joel Ermansky, a Republican, says the 1849 ban should be enforced because it was never repealed.
Correspondent Donna Warder. President-elect Trump has chosen New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to serve as his ambassador to the UN. In announcing the pick, Mr. Trump writes, Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. Stefanik serves as House Republican Conference Chair and has long been one of Mr. Trump's most loyal allies in the House of Representatives. She was among those discussed as a potential vice presidential choice before that job went to Senator J.D. Vance. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Happy Veterans Day. Today is officially Veterans Day and Monday. Happy Monday, everybody, but happy. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, we had the Veterans Day Assembly on Saturday. Had a great turnout. Actually, I would have liked a few more people. It wasn't as big as other turnouts, but we had a great ceremony overall.
Sure.
Did have a little kerfluffle getting a PA system. There was stuff. And so, big thank you again to Jeremy Holloman. Remember Jeremy?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy. It was, of course, Jeremy. Sean, I used to work with Jeremy back in early radio days and stuff like that. And so they're having the PA, and finally it turned out the PA wasn't going to happen. Like they were like, all right, it fell through. And all of a sudden, Jeremy comes up to me out of the sea of people. I have one in my car for the cheerleaders. Do you need any? I was like, Jeremy, how you doing? Yes, please bring it over. And so Jeremy was able to do it thanks to his little miniature system.
Right guy, right place, right time.
So Jeremy Holloman, savior of the 2024 Veterans Day Assembly. So big thank you to Jeremy for that. And but yeah, we had a good time. Of course, today, being Veterans Day proper.
Yep.
Of course, it is a federal holiday. No mail today.
Yeah.
There will be a stock report.
There will be.
The stock market is open today. No mail. Most banks will be closed today. Schools here are open. They are closed in many parts of the country, but with I think election because I'm guessing
we
because
had to
didn't
basically choose one or the other, and we chose election day.
Yeah, so that's kind of the situation there for schools today. Most businesses are open retail wise. I know I was kind of doing the perennial who's doing the offerings for veterans on Veterans Day. I have some of the national ones. Again, these are all
I can tell you, a few
at
ones
participating locations. So I'm not sure if every one of these in our town is doing these. Just kind of. I know Applebee's on Veterans Day is offering a free meal to veterans, active duty military reserves, and National Guard members. They can choose from meals on their Veterans Day menu while dining in. Additionally, veterans can get a $5 bonus back card while dining on Applebee's November 11th. The coupon is valid for dine-in or to-go delivery during the 3-week period. Buffalo Wild Wings, active and retired armed services members who show the valid ID can get 10 free boneless wings and fries on Veterans Day. The offer is valid for dine-in orders and walk-in customer orders placed on the Buffalo Wild Wings Go location. Additionally, the chain offers veterans 15% discount all year long on dine-in and call-in orders. Let's see, Chili's. Veterans and active duty personnel will get a free entree while dining in at Chili's on November 11th. And then they got like 4 different entrees you can choose from, like an old-timers burger, chicken strip, things like that. We don't have a CC's anymore. No Cracker Barrel, no Dave & Buster. Denny's. Active and retired military personnel can get a free original Grand Slam breakfast at participating Denny's locations when they share a valid military ID or a DD-214. If you don't know what that is, you ain't got one. The dine-in offer is available between 5 a.m. and noon on November 11th. So you got to get it in the morning here at Denny's for the breakfast. You got to be in there.
Yeah.
Dunkin', active and retired military members can get 1 free donut in store at Dunkin's on Veterans Day while supplies last. No ID required. We don't have a Firehouse subs yet, so don't need to do that one. Hurricane IHOP, November 11th, between 7 and 7, participating IHOP locations nationwide will offer veterans and active duty military members a free red, white, and blueberry pancake combo while dining in.
You know what that tastes like? America.
Freedom. Little Caesars is veterans and active duty military members can get a free hot and ready lunch combo at participating Little Caesars locations across the country between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. while they show proof of service.
If you do get Little Caesars for lunch, don't run with it.
Yeah, that's right. Don't want to run with Little Caesars. Think about that one. Let's see. We don't have those. Peter Piper. On November 11th, Peter Piper Pizzas is running a buy one, get one free buffet deal for veterans. We don't have a Raising Cane's. They do an Albuquerque. Red Robin, Smoothie King, Sonic. November 11th, all Sonic customers can enjoy. Here, all Sonic customers, no veteran status required there, can enjoy half-price shakes, any size and flavor, including classic and master shakes.
Nice.
It's a master shake.
It's like a regular shake, but it's spent 4 more years in school.
I was about to say, it's like, obey your master. Wendy's, participating Wendy's locations are giving veterans and active duty members a free breakfast combo. No purchase necessary during breakfast hours on November 11th when they show their veteran or vet rewards card or notify any crew member of their military status. The offer is limited to 1 per customer. It can and can't be combined with other deals. Whataburger is giving veterans and active duty military members a free 16-ounce hot or iced coffee when they show up in uniform or share their valid ID.
Honey, where's my BDU?
Right, get to that bad boy.
just walking back.
A little tight around.
It's been 20 years since my service, but I found the thing, okay?
Excuse the buttons about to pop in your forehead on this sucker, but
Don't drink that coffee while standing there. It'll just burst right out of your suit.
Lots of sugar. All right. Let's see. And I think, that's on this list, that's what I have
The
there.
one I'm pretty sure you missed that I read over there was Starbucks. I believe it's a free. I didn't see a size, but I believe it's a free regular coffee.
Smoothie. Oh, there you go. Participating Starbucks locations offering veteran service members and military spouses free 12-ounce brewed coffee. hot or iced on Veterans Day.
Yep.
There you go. You're right. I did miss that. It's because I don't go to Starbucks ever because I don't like coffee.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Nothing against Starbucks. I just sell the product I don't drink. So
yeah, but you ever tried like a nice chai tea or maybe like a...
Yeah, everyone says that.
You know.
And then I think about it, and then I go by there, and everybody in town is in line at 3 o'clock on a Thursday. So I'm like, I don't need that chai tea that bad.
Yeah, honestly, and that's what dissuades me from getting Starbucks more often than not is how long that line is.
I'm like...
It's stupid.
I'm pretty sure they put some kind of addicting drug in there.
Caffeine.
No. Something more than that. Something more than that.
It's that good, man.
Because people literally line up and will wait. And I'm like, why? Like, and I know I don't drink coffee. I don't get it. So I'm not in that group.
I will say this.
But I'm like, it's I could see if it's 7 a.m. and everybody's busy. But like, it's literally 2:30 on a Tuesday. And I drive by there and there's everybody and their uncle wrapped around there to get coffee. And I'm like, what is happening?
Because you're not a coffee person, I wouldn't expect you to necessarily understand, but there are levels to quality of coffee. And I will say this, Starbucks has their roast is a bolder roast. It's a stronger roast and it actually tastes more like coffee should. Like if you go to a diner, you expect to get basically brown water.
Okay.
But if you go to a place like a Starbucks, you're expecting a more quality cup, essentially.
Yeah, but how much better is it than any other quote unquote good coffee place? Like I hear people all the time talk about like McDonald's coffee is really good, or Dunkin' Donuts coffee is really good.
Dunkin's is really good.
How is it any different than that?
The line.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dunkin's is as good as Starbucks, but you're going to get a lot less line.
Okay. So that's the point I'm making. I'm like, is it so good that you're willing to just literally drive through and pick it up, or I'm going to plot and plan 2 hours of my day to get said cup of
It's
coffee?
also a sophisticated way to say I'm having a milkshake for breakfast. That's basically what people are doing. As long as we have it's the cup, It's like the...
I know, it's the status.
Yeah, it's like the tumblers from earlier this year, the Stanley tumblers, how big those were.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure you can get one of those if you do anything at this point.
Yeah, if you open a bank account,
right?
The savings and loan.
Buy a lamp at a furniture store, we'll give you 6 tumblers.
But my kid's mom is a prime example of this. She would specifically get the cups so she'd have the logo. Like she'd drink other coffee, but she would buy the plastic tumblers from Starbucks for the for the logo.
You know what?
It's a status symbol.
Y'all do you. God bless you. But if you're doing that kind of stuff, I'm judging you secretly. Like you're really that hopped up on life that you care that much about these things.
It's what we have, man. It's all we have.
And to be honest, if you're judging people based on solely what they're carrying in their hand, maybe you ought to reassess how you assess people. Just saying.
I agree. See, I agree. But then again, you and me are just kind of sitting in a box together, so we're not helping anybody out.
What a rube. They get their coffee from the gas station.
No, honestly, and I'm going to try to get a hold of one of these before they change, because they're all changing the names.
Yeah.
But I desperately want to get a coffee cup from the Come and Go gas station. Because that, to me, is the greatest status symbol you can have.
Now that I can get behind. Juvenile, stupid things that have double entendres, I'm down with all day.
Extra cream, please.
Because that's creativity.
That's right.
I like that. Let me give you the rundown. We got a full slate. Poor Matt Bristol's been patiently waiting to talk during all that nonsense. But Matt Bristol with Bristol Office is going to join us here in just a few, as he does every month. Gives us great advice on legal stuff, whether it's family law or business law.
No sage?
He'll throw some sage stuff in there too, and some basil and paprika. But yeah, he's making fun of my sage legal advice thing. So again, double entendre. Anyway, but Matt's going to join us in just a bit. We're going to replay some interviews in the 8 to 9 o'clock hour. Dara Dana joined us last was it Thursday, I believe, with the Daughters of the American Revolution. Today, Veterans Day at 1 o'clock, they're going to be doing a placard dedication for the Daughters of the American Revolution here on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn at the Veterans Memorial there. And they're going to do a ceremony. Love to welcome the public to enjoy it. It shouldn't take too long. At 1 o'clock today here on the courthouse lawn. That's why I'm going to play that today. Last minute reminder for everybody. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, excuse me, had a hiccup. We're going to replay our interview we had with Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. She joined us last week to talk about an event that they are hosting or having at the Historical Society on the 23rd. It's called Holiday with Friends. Because of the flooding and all of that, the Holiday Magic Art and Craft Show, an annual tradition at the Convention and Civic Center, that's not happening this year because, well, the flooding and with the status of all that there. So on the 23rd at the Historical Society's archive facility, they're going to have a called a Holiday with Friends event, and they're going to have a few vendors, some of the vendors that we're going to sell there that can't, and let's face it, this is like their Black Friday for some of these folks, and so they're going to have a little event at the Historical Society there on the 23rd. Just they're going to sell a few things. It's not going to be the Holiday Magic full thing, but I think certain things you come to hope and see, certain foods and certain things that you're always like traditions as a part of that, you will find at the event. But we're going to play that interview in the 9 o'clock hour to tell you about that. So it's not, I know, because people are like, wait a minute, is this no, it's not. This is just something that people put together grassroots to try to help out some of the folks that aren't going to be able to sell at this year's event because it was canceled. So they're trying to offer an opportunity. And of course, folks that get a chance to do a little shopping, get all those traditions and things you're used to. So it's just for that. And I know, people try, what is this? No, people get all up their cockles up and get, what is this? What are you doing? No, just relax. Just trying to help some people out. That's all we're doing. But we'll play that interview for you here in a bit. It is 7:19. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area today, and we're expecting sunshine with our high between 70 and 75. Overnight, a few clouds drifting through. We'll drop to about 40 on the overnight low. Another nice day coming up on Tuesday. Sunshine and low to mid 70s, except upper 70s around the Carlsbad area. Then on Wednesday, we're expecting it to be a little bit cooler, mid 60s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 43 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 80%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Nice day today. 70 are expected high under mostly sunny skies. Winds will be out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. So if you're doing outdoor stuff, if you do get to enjoy the day off today, looks like pretty good weather for it. Cloudy tonight. Expect an overnight low of 41 degrees with southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, partly cloudy, and then gradually just becoming not cloudy, sunny. So it says partly gradually becoming sunny. So partly cloudy early, sunny for the day. High of 74, so even warmer. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 38 degrees. West winds at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, mid-60s. 66 for a high. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear or sunny on Thursday with a high of 69. Friday, sunny and 74. And then, Saturday, they're talking 79 for a high, so pushing 80 on Saturday. And then a 30% chance of showers on Sunday with a high of 68. So we'll see. But it looks like overall, week-wise, pretty good weather. Pretty warm. Probably jackets in the morning, T-shirts by the afternoon for pretty much this week here. All right, 7:21. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten, and they are having one of those today, despite the Veterans Day holiday. And then a quick break, and then we'll have Matt Bristol join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good November run this week, following some good rain and snow in the drawing area, and a good selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings. Expect to sell 1,300 head. Breaking down like this: 175 200 weight cows and bulls, 75 to 100 pairs of bred cows, 951,000 calves and yearlings today. Sale will include 10 to 15 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white-faced cows with black calves. Pairs 5 to 10 years old, 11 fancy Angus bred heifers, bred Angus bulls, and several sets of young black open cows and heifers, 2 to 5 years old. 22 calves, Casabon Ranch, Hope, New Mexico. Reputation quality black Angus calves, weigh 45 plus days. 3 rounds of shots, 450, 550 pounds. 23 calves, Mr. Ralph Senna, Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Ex-quality black Angus calves, shots at Brandon, long age, 500, 650 pounds. 41 calves, Mr. Skylar Pierce, here north of Roswell. Ex-quality black white face Angus crossbred calves, Bovishield Gold, 7-way, 450, 600 pounds. 101 calves, Circle Bar Partnership, Balmorhea, Texas. Ex-quality black white face Angus crossbred calves, medium condition, 450, 650 pounds. 41 calves, Mesa Verde Ranch, Alamogordo, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white face and white face calves, shots at Brandon, medium condition, 375, 475 pounds. 32 calves, Mr. Robert Gutierrez, Tenney, New Mexico. Ex-quality black Angus calves, shots at Brandon, 500, 650 pounds. 21 calves, Mr. Kendall Wilson at Carrizosa. Ex-quality red Angus cross calves, cattle weigh 45 days, 3 rounds of shots, thin condition, 300, 400 pounds. 19 steer calves, Mr. Buddy Bennett, Dale City, Texas. Ex-quality black white face Angus and Brangus crosses, cattle weigh 21 days, 2 rounds of shots, 400, 550 pounds. 32 heifer calves, Mr. Henry McDonald, Loving, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white face calves, weaned, 1 round of shots, 400, 600 pounds. And 20 calves, Mr. Javier Sanchez, Estancia, New Mexico. Ex-quality black Angus calves, weaned 21 days, Bovishield Gold, 7-way, 550, 650 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sell pairs, bred cows, 10. Be selling calves and yearlings around 10:30 to 11. We expect to sell 1,300 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most love rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. And save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, now officially, Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Happy Veterans Day.
Well, happy Veterans Day to you. You served.
I did serve. Thank you very much. But I just throw the blanket Happy Veterans Day out there to everybody. So.
Yes, thank all the service people who served.
Absolutely. And take advantage. I was trying to run down some of those deals. Please, by all means, you check with the restaurants first. Like I said, I was reading them online, and they're that's going to be app participating. So I am not sure if the ones locally here are participating on those. You'll have to call and ask directly or check. I know there's a few I missed, and usually Golden Corral's one that always offers free. I didn't see that on that list, but I know traditionally here in town they're offering free meals to veterans. And
awesome.
Because the only reason I know because I live not far from it, and usually Veterans Day there's a line out the building.
Good.
So, but yeah, all of our veterans out there, thank you for your service and
yes, thank you indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, the only oddities about serving in the service that I know are basically World War II kind of stuff. And so during World War II, there were some people that didn't want to go to war.
Sure.
And so they joined the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
They job in the Coast Guard.
Well, guess who drove the landing crafts in the Pacific?
Yeah, I was going to say, guess who's fighting too?
Yeah, it's Coast Guard.
Yeah. There's a reason we include Coast Guard in our veterans thing, because they're veterans. They fight, they do. And to be honest, Coast Guard, they're kind of, because in the peacetime role, they kind of serve as like law enforcement in the water. I mean, and by that I mean not only busting down drug runners and things, but helping people like EMS and everything else.
Oh yeah.
You ever watch Deadliest Catch and one of those boats goes squirrely? Guess who's out there in a helicopter in the middle of the storm? It's Coast Guard.
Yeah, my neighbor down the street was Coast Guard, and then they were running interdiction. And they pulled some boat over.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what went down, but somebody in the little boat shot my neighbor in the arm.
I'm about to say, there's cartel wars and all kind of stuff that these Coast Guards deal with. That's
dangerous.
It's not if you're going to hide in the Coast Guard, that's not the best place to hide. Nope. That's all I'm saying.
Nope.
I mean, we military vets give them, a hard time because, like the other kid. But that in real life, there's nothing. Ain't no jokes about it.
And then during the Vietnam War, there were people who, to try to get out of combat, joined the Navy to be medics.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Guess what?
The Marines don't have medics. They use Navy medics.
So guess where they go? You go follow Marines around. You're the first ones in. You're going in with the people that said that everyone else said, no, we're not doing that. And then the people said, yeah, we got this. You're going with them.
Yeah, so you gotta watch out for that stuff.
Yeah. Life's not always, the grass is not always greener on the other side here. But and that's what we talk about with veterans. And I mentioned this on Saturday, and I always try to mention it. It does not matter your role in the United States Armed Forces. It does not matter what you did, whether you were combat
or not.
You were in the combat ready stuff or you're in the support side. Every little bit of that is important to the mission. Without that thing, and so
Amen.
Yes, you may not be the one that had to see and do some of the things that people are talking to therapists about.
Right.
But at the same time, without that, exactly everything. Well, people in the military, you don't want to mess with people that cook you food or provide you because
they're important.
Yeah,
hello,
they're important people. And so the odds are the person you're the nicest to is the guy feeding you food or the guy that's taking care of a need, because life is going to get really crappy for you if you piss that guy off. We all know that importance. So.
Yes, everyone who serves is important, no matter their MOS.
Absolutely. And so I want our veterans to know, because I know every time I'll talk to veterans, I'm like, I was a cook. I was like, so you signed up, you did this, and guess what? Where you're cooking and where they put you to cook sometimes, they ain't trying to bomb the Applebee's here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And sometimes that things happen like that. You know what I mean? And so it's yes, your role is very vital. Do not trivialize. Do not downplay your service to our country, whether we're dropping bombs or shooting guns or peeling potatoes. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And we're thankful for everybody who has served.
Absolutely. So please remind, because I just know every year veteran. Oh no, don't trivialize your service. You did something that not everyone in this country or on this planet are willing to do.
Yeah. A friend of my dad's, in fact, was telling me he served in World War II, and I'm like, okay, well, so what'd you do? And he tells me, I was one of the Remington Raiders. And if you don't know what that means, it means he was a typist.
It sounds pretty, would you run around and free some? No.
They had a Remington typewriter.
Right. You think of Remington shotguns, and they're like, no, different Remington. Yeah. Well, and the military is very good at creating, jokes and ways to deal with things that you don't like dealing with. That's why the military people are generally the most smart alecky people on the planet. Because that's how we cope with life. Everything sucks, and you're just putting a spin on it to make it funny in your own warped way.
Well, you got to get through it, and humor's one way to get through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so big thank you to our veterans.
Absolutely.
And like I said, if you do have some time today, please come out at 1:00 and celebrate the Daughters of the American Revolution as they do their placard dedication there, and come be a part of that. That's really cool deal. It's a free event and everything else. And I know NMMI is doing their veterans breakfast this morning.
Oh,
I think
right?
if you didn't RSVP, you're a little late to the ball game now, but that's a free breakfast. I know there's the dinner tonight at First United Methodist Church for veterans.
And what time is that?
Let me pull up that flyer. I don't have it.
So First Methodist down here downtown, just off 3rd Street.
5 p.m. tonight at First United Methodist Church. They're going to have music by Mary Gonzalez and Danny Castro. They're going to be honoring veterans Jack Swickard, Jim Casti, and Jaime Ferrero. Dinner consists of smoked chicken breast or brisket with some sides as well, too, here on that. So, but that's at First United Methodist Church, free dinner tonight.
5 p.m.?
5 p.m. for veterans and their spouses.
Yeah, Jack's story is really interesting. Are you familiar with Jack's story?
I am very familiar with it. Basically, to make a long story short, if you've seen the movie We Were Soldiers, and the Greg Kinnear character with the helicopter, and basically that's kind of what it's all loosely based off, was what he did during NAM. Was some of that stuff.
Well, I didn't realize there was a loosely based movie on that.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers with Sam Elliott and Mel Gibson. I think it's a Mel Gibson. I feel like he directed.
We Were Soldiers Once was We Were Soldiers Once and Young. So because I'm not sure, I don't remember the helicopter scene.
Well, this is kind of
the Mel Gibson one.
Well, and that there's the thing where they're kind of stranded, and their really only contact is with the Greg Kinnear character in the helicopter bringing in and stuff. And so the movie's not about the helicopter. He was just one of the unsung heroes as part of that. And so
because that was written by autobiography basically by the guy who was the commander.
Yes. And so basically, Swickard that whole is I don't know that you could talk to the more closer folks, but it's all loosely tied to that, and that movie and what he did in NAM was basically that.
Yeah, Jack and one other guy volunteered to go pick up people who were trapped.
And that's kind of what the We Were Soldiers
Americans
story.
and South Vietnamese regulars, and I think they made 3 trips. He said the last trip when he landed, the defensive perimeter was inside the rotors.
Yeah,
it was that bad.
They were basically they're and like you see those kinds of scenes in some of those Vietnam War movies. Like I don't know, it seems like especially Vietnam. Like every time you watch a Vietnam movie or Apocalypse Now, it doesn't matter. They all have it. There's always that scene where the enemy has got them surrounded, and then they're waiting for the Huey to come in and pick them up and get them out of there. That's kind of what he did in those kinds of things.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Bat 21?
That's the one with Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Yes, I did see that. Where was he a pilot shot down?
He was a
was he like
electronic defense?
That's right. I remember seeing the movie. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but I think I kind of get it mixed up with it because there was another movie, like Flight of the Intruder was right around that time. And then there was another one of those movies, what I want to say with Owen Wilson, where he was a pilot shot down during NAM and all.
Owen Wilson was he's in Serbia. He's in the Balkans.
Yeah, maybe that was the one. But they all kind of were roughly around the same time in the theater, so I kind of get them mixed up in my head.
Gene Hackman's a good one.
But Bat 21 with Gene Hackman, that was. Matter of fact, I think that was one that I never saw in theaters. But it was on HBO for a minute, like every day, and I was right in that sweet house of my life where I got a chance to watch a lot of HBO. And it was like every time because this was back before you had, and this was fancy for its day, but you had cable and you had an HBO, and my parents actually got podied up for HBO and Cinemax, and so I had them all, all 4 channels. I was like, you don't realize that was the Cadillac of cable at that time.
Well, Bat 21's a true story.
Yes. But it was on it was in the rotation of HBO movies at that time, and so I remember any given time I'd turn it on, and there was like a 50% chance that movie or one of the other 7 movies they showed at nauseum were playing. So I've seen the movie in its entirety, but I probably seen like parts where I'd turn on like, oh, this is the scene where he's at, and but and it's a good movie if you ever get the chance to check it out.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. We are way off our normal thing we got going on.
Well, that's okay. It's Veterans Day.
But generally speaking, if you're not familiar, Matt joins us each month, and we talk just good legal advice. Sometimes because of Matt's practice, he deals a lot with family law and of course financial, family planning, financially business planning. So that's a lot of our conversations are preventative law stuff generally. It's stuff that things you should do or prepare for, and if you do that, then your time doing more insidious stuff or harder stuff with people like Matt is lot less. But you're dealing with
Yes.
attorneys a lot less if you do it right the first time.
You do it right the first time. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's really what our conversations are geared toward, is trying to get you to do it right the first time, so you're not having a pound of headaches and dealing with that stuff later down.
Well, I had one of those come in just last week. The gentleman had come in for a bankruptcy consultation, and so we were talking, and then one of the questions is, do you own any real estate? Because the certain homes are protected to a certain dollar extent.
Gotcha.
And so we got to figure out, how much equity you have in the home. And so I always ask people, you buying it on a mortgage or owner finance? And he says, owner financed. And I said, oh, okay, we'll need a copy of that paperwork because that's called an equitable interest versus a legal interest. And that question's in the paperwork. It's one of those lawyer word thingy bobbies. So I asked him, are you going through escrow? And he says, no. And I said, oh, really?
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Especially if this is owner financed and kind of privately transacted. Usually escrow is the one safety valve for things like that.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was asking him, he goes, oh, well, the seller is an old dude for years and we get along and blah, 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 blah.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah. So I asked him, how do you make the payments? Do you get a receipt? Oh, no, we just make the deposits at his bank. And I'm like, okay. But, that is just ripe for blowing up. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that can go wrong with that.
That's walking a tightrope there.
Yeah.
Living dangerously.
Well, he asked, what do you mean? This is a dangerous idea. And I said, well, if there's a mortgage, I said, what I commonly see is the seller, something happens. There's a car repair, medical expense, something happens. And so they take the payment for the real estate contract, and instead of using that to pay the mortgage, they use that to pay the car repair, the medical bill, or whatever. And so the buyer ends up making the final payment on the house, and guess what? There's still a mortgage out there.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that they're doing it nefariously. Like, the intentions were good to begin with, but when life happens and things, so even with people you trust and things that you just, no, you can't do this kind of thing.
So you go through a real estate contract or an escrow, and so why is that good? Well, when the escrow company, they send the payment directly to the mortgage company. Yeah. You make sure the mortgage gets paid.
It's official. Everyone, once it's in, it's just it's the peace of mind that everyone knows that this is on the up and up. And if you go through that process there, and so no one's going to skip town. No one's going to be left holding a bag. It's a safety valve for all parties. Really is.
Well, it really is.
Yeah.
The other way it blows up is the buyer makes the last payment, and then the seller says, "Well, wait a minute, you got 4 more years," because they just remember the payments differently. And sometimes the sellers are not do it on purpose. And a lot of times they don't,
right?
But they just miscount.
Sure.
And with an escrow company, they've got the deed for the buyer, and they keep track of when the last payment was made. Sure. And now not only do they have the deed for the buyer, but there's an independent witness for the judge, if necessary, of who made the payments and are they behind or not behind.
Sure. And then it sure makes it handy when, life happens and someone dies or someone gets sick and someone else has to take over some of these things, or who's responsible parties. It's sure a lot easier to handle that stuff when it's done through escrow and things.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly. When the seller passes away and you're dealing with his kids, they don't know what payments were made or not made.
Exactly.
And they're not going to give you a deed till they try to figure it out. Yeah. And it gets messy.
Yeah. So this is the catch all. So when tragedy happens or when nefarious happens, this is the thing this is the check and balance that catches it, basically. That's kind of, it's kind of like how our government's supposed to work too. There's checks and balances. This is part of that kind of thing for your own personal plan.
Yes, and that's why at least go talk to your family attorney or some attorney and find out, okay, well, this is what I'm thinking is, what's likely to go wrong and how do we avoid what might go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, trust me, because a lot of times people avoid these things for what they think is less headache or less, path least resistance here.
Yeah.
That's only wonderful if nothing ever happens. and if And if you're betting on that one, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because that's inevitable. Death and taxes, the same. These are inevitable things, and both of those fall in these categories.
Yes. it's gonna go sideways. Gonna go sideways.
Yeah.
But you're right. People are, well, I don't want to spend $150, $200, $300 on an attorney. And, you know, my buddy says he'll sell me the house and he signed a contract. But when you do it with an escrow company, they will record in the county and notice that you're buying the house.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't deal with an escrow company, you may not know you need to do that as the buyer. Because if you do not record a notice that you're purchasing the house, the seller can sell that thing out from under you, and you, the buyer, are out in the cold.
Exactly. And ain't a thing you can do about it. Sit there and complain.
Because you had the golden opportunity to prevent that from happening by recording a notice, and you didn't. So you're the most guilty party in that triangle.
Yeah. It's life is, and this is life. It's not just in the legal and financial world. Life is preparing, anticipating. This is the stuff we're all the things we're talking about and that Matt talks about. Yeah, they're kind of marketed to life and family and finances and all that. But generally speaking, these are really just life. You apply them to every aspect of your life. You know, we talk about, you know, preparing to have wills done or knowing the difference to set up the protections for your business or anything like that. This is all just research and data. We're not telling you golden nuggets of information that are hidden behind some lockbox. We're giving you the key to the cat. No, we're telling you what's really common knowledge. And unfortunately, people when it comes to finances and legalities, everyone thinks they're an expert in their own little thing because they saw a thing on a TV show once about something.
Yeah.
Or they saw an article online that covered one facet of one thing that really did not apply to anything we're talking about.
Right. Right.
And so we're experts all of a sudden, you know, because let's face it, there's a lot of Hollywood movies and TV shows about lawyers and legal stuff and doctor stuff too, which is all related. But again, it's all the same thing. All the things that we're talking about here, that they put on a TV show that they solve in an hour, is not how it works in real life. And so you've got to prepare for that and plot for that. And so that's what we're talking. But all of this stuff equally applies in any other thing in your life. If you're trying to get better at your job, using these same preparing and planning tactics, you'll find will be successful in your career.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or family. Yeah. You know, maybe your family's just a hot mess. Can't get organized. Can't get nowhere. Can't get. Maybe applying some things, putting some routines, creating a schedule, creating, you know, planning, coordinating. You might find that the chaos will just, I'm not saying go away because it's kids and family and that happens, but maybe, just maybe, might be a little control to your chaos.
Yeah, and talk to somebody who knows something, not your neighbor, not somebody, you know, who didn't go to law school.
Exactly. You know, that's and the thing with law, and this is something that I'm sure Matt spends 1,000 times a day telling people every time he's dealing with a client. Just because you're both dealing with a divorce case or a bankruptcy case or whatever does not mean that they're the same case. 2 bankruptcies, 2 divorces, they're entirely different. And what Matt does in one situation worked best for that. It may not work the best in another situation. Yep. So that's when you get a lot of word of mouth. Well, I heard they did this and this. I was like, yeah, but if I do that for you, you could end up losing the house or whatever the story is. I'm just, you know, putting a plot in there. There's other variables. There's other things that are preventing or allowing you to do what you want to do on that. And that's where you got to sit down with someone like Matt and say, you know, this is where, because Matt's been doing this for a long time. He knows exactly the ins and outs. He's seen, you know, and this is, you know, when lawyers get more seasoned, more practice, you know, over the years, you see everything at some point. Everyone tries to pull something, and over the years, and lawyers are very ingenious. You know, they're smart people. There's a reason they go to law school, and you know, even the dumb ones are pretty smart. And so they, you know, they're pretty conniving. They're pretty, you know, and so that's why you gotta, you know, trust the experts on some of this stuff, and don't rely on your own expertise you may or may not got off of TikTok.
Or Googled it and found something that really doesn't quite apply to your case.
It's like being a doctor and your degree is WebMD. It doesn't help you.
No.
You because by the time you read that thing, you're going to convince you polio or something else, and you're like, it's just a cold.
I had an engineer come in one time from WIP, and you'd think he's an engineer. He's got to, have some ability to have rational thinking. But he came in and something had gone sideways in his life, and he had a lot of bills and was thinking about a bankruptcy. And it's like, okay, well, stuff happens in life. And so we're talking about it. And, how long you been at WIP? And he says, like 18 years. Oh, okay. And so in the bankruptcy, you have to list all your assets. What kind of retirement do you have? And he says, I don't have any. And I'm like, you've been with WIP 18 years. I know you got some kind of retirement.
You didn't save anything? Yeah, 401k, something somewhere. Yeah.
Well, then they had some pretty generous stuff down there at the time.
I was like, they probably give them some benefits. Did you sign up for any of them or do anything?
Yeah, they had profit sharing. And so, what do you mean you don't have anything? Oh, well, I talked to my buddy, the famous last words.
Oh, no.
And he said if I filed bankruptcy, I couldn't protect my retirement. So I drew it all out and spent it. And I'm like, you did what? In a bankruptcy.
That's one of the few things that is protected.
It's 100% protected, yeah.
You did the complete opposite.
Yeah, you could have $750,000 in there and you keep it all.
See, that's the point of bankruptcy, to protect those things. That's the whole point. Otherwise, what are you protecting?
Yeah, man, his jaw hit the ground, the poor schmuck.
And you just defeated the whole purpose of filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just say, screw it, let him take it.
Oh, my gosh, that poor guy. So that's why.
Sorry, I thought that was funny.
Now, but at the time it's pretty
I'm
sad.
starving, but I'm going to McDonald's and not buying food. Just going to look at it and leave.
So that's why you go talk to an attorney first, folks.
Yeah.
There's and if there's things you can do for preparing for a bankruptcy. There's things you cannot do preparing for a bankruptcy.
Sure.
And the farther away from the bankruptcy filing you are, it looks like good planning. Immediately before the bankruptcy, it looks like funny money stuff.
Sure.
So that's why you really need to go talk to an attorney.
Absolutely. And let's face it, when you're dealing with bankruptcy, obviously things aren't right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be bankrupt in the first place. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And so that's why you got to let some down. And quite frankly, the more you try to do it yourself, I'm not saying it's gonna, but 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be worse than better. It's just the odds, and there's so much things that unless you're a person that literally does this for a living, it's hard for you to understand what your protections are, what your full, and that's why talking to Matt or someone like Matt, that this is what Matt does. This is, he knows all these things and can, and every time you get an idea, bounce it off Matt. Matt could tell you, great idea, or no, that's not a great idea, and here's why.
and it's yes. So the bankruptcy laws are pretty generous.
Mm-hmm.
We get to choose, actually, New Mexico's state exemptions or the federal bankruptcy exemptions.
Okay.
And the state exemptions are much more generous. So an exemption is an asset that's exempt from collection, exempt from creditors. And so it's really subtle. So you can protect, for example, money that is traceable to an IRA, but you can only protect a right to receive Social Security benefits, for example.
Okay.
So the right to receive versus money traceable to or from is a huge freaking difference.
That makes sense. Again, it's all in the language.
So you say, well, I've got $10,000 in the bank. Cool. Where's it from? Well, it's, Social Security. Well, but this language says your right to receive Social Security of veterans benefits. It means future payments, not the past payments in the savings account.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little subtle difference, which, could mean $15,000, $20,000 depending on how much you got in the savings.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's why we need to talk about that stuff.
This is why you got to talk to and let's face it, the more moving parts, the more confused it is. When you get more people involved, it's going to be, whether it's a business, if there's partners, that changes the wrinkles on, everything. Same with family stuff. When there's kids involved, then guess what? Now the parameters change here a little bit, or, depending on the amount of assets involved, the parameters change here a little bit.
So you got to look at it. Yeah. So I had a husband come in and we're talking. I said, okay, you have to list all of your assets. So and that means community assets because you're married. So we're going through all this stuff and talking. And they got a house and some equity, not a whole lot. But each homeowner can protect up to $150,000 with equity. So that's really generous.
Absolutely.
But they didn't have anywhere near that. And then
does those numbers vary state to state?
Yes.
Okay, because
Big
obviously
time.
cost of living's got to come into play there a little bit, because 150 in New Mexico is going to get you a lot farther than 150 in, say, D.C. area. Or New York City.
Well, so in Texas, if you're in a rural setting, it's based on acreage.
Okay. So not value per se, but the land size.
Yeah. So if you're like a married couple, you can get up to 200 acres, something like that, something strange. In an urban setting, it's the value of the lot.
Okay.
Not the improvements.
Okay.
So
basically, if everything went away tomorrow, what is the value of this piece of land or whatever?
Yeah. So it's very, very different. And Texas was founded by a bunch of debtors. I don't know how they came up with that stuff. but
imagine Australia. It's full of criminals there too. You know, theirs all screwed up.
So then the gentleman discloses, and my wife and her siblings own some land in Texas. It's like, okay, so like, are we talking, 5 acres or 20 acres? And it says, oh, no, it's like downtown Dallas. It's like, holy cats, big money. So I said, well, let me think about this. Let me think. So it's, what if she doesn't file the bankruptcy? So if he files only, he's got to list everything he has an interest in.
Can that be done in a marriage? Can a spouse or one file and not file? Is that?
Yes.
I always kind of thought you had to do it together because you're tied at the hip with all your finances.
So. It's an asset question, but not necessarily.
Okay.
So get some more info. And if he files only, he must list every asset he owns.
Okay.
So that's going to mean community property.
And personal.
And any other his sole and separate property. Mm-hmm. He has to list all that. But because wife's land was inherited and it's her sole and separate property, he has no legal interest in it, so he doesn't list it in the bankruptcy.
Interesting. Okay.
Because he has no legal interest
in it. Now,
does
that apply in community property states?
That applies to New Mexico, yes.
Okay, because I was kind of interested, because that was the part I was, because technically, does he have individual property, or does it fall under community property because it's a community property state?
He lists all community property, and the equity in the house was under $150,000.
Sure.
So his list of protected assets protected all the community property.
Gotcha.
And that's when you can say one spouse files. It's when their list of protected assets protects everything the community owns.
Gotcha.
So that's when one spouse files. So the cool thing about that is it not only protects the community property you have now, but it protects future acquired community property.
Okay, so blankets that in.
Yeah, go figure. But it protects after acquired community property. So 5 years from now, you buy a different vehicle, but you still get the exemption.
Sure. Well, at the end of the day, that's the American dream. You're supposed to get bigger and better as life goes on, and so that it falls with that.
But the wife never filed bankruptcy. Is she still liable on the bills?
Well, technically, no. I would think
she is.
Is she, because of the community property side?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking, but if she
signed,
but if he goes,
she signed the car loan. She signed the credit card.
So if he backs out if he goes defunct on his bankruptcy, they can go after her to try to recoup.
Even if he successfully completes his bankruptcy, she never filed. Technically, she's still liable in all those bills.
Gotcha, because she doesn't have the protections that come under the bankruptcy. There is a reason why you file, because there's protections that allow the creditors not access certain things and all that.
The assets.
She doesn't. Yeah, the assets. Because she didn't file, she's not under those protections. They can go after her.
They can. Yes, they can sue her. They can get a judgment against her.
Yeah.
But they cannot collect against community assets.
Only her individual stuff.
If they know she has any.
If it's not, if they find it, and if it's not under the community property under the bank.
But even her paycheck's community property.
Yeah, because you pay taxes, and that's part of the big, absolutely.
Yeah, so if a creditor sues and they can't collect against community property, can't garnish wages, can't collect against any assets.
So even she's got side hustles they don't know about, they would count if they know about them, but
they don't know. It's a side hustle. so 99% of the time, the creditor never goes after the non-filing spouse because what's the use?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just saw the time. We probably need to wrap this up here real quick. But again, I will tell you this while Matt's going to do his kind of his factoids here. Do want to remind folks that anything we're talking about here, if this or business law, anything else, Matt Bristol office can definitely help you navigate through some of those things. If you check out his website, bristollawoffice.net, bristollaw.net. Is it technically, or is it bristoloffice.net? Now I'm brain
bristollawoffice.net.
Yeah, I just brain farted. I come out as a Bristol Law Office or bristollaw.net. But anyway, bristollawoffice.net. And you can go there and, read all about Matt and his services and stuff, but schedule a consultation to sit down and talk. And that's the thing. First things first is we'll talk about your case. What's going on? What do you got going on? First thing that may happen is after that, Matt says, you don't need a lawyer. You need to go down to the clerk's office, fill this out, and good. Or he may say, thank you for coming. We need to get to work. You got a whole lot of lawyer work we got to do.
Yep, just depends. Sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. But bristollawoffice.net is the best way to probably get a hold of Matt and set an appointment and get services going.
Call me at 625-5284 and set up an appointment.
Excellent. All right.
So Kim Commando is on this radio channel.
Yes, she is.
And so I was listening to Kim Commando one day, and this is just a funny story. So she apparently lives in Phoenix because she was talking about hiking Camelback Mountain. Mm-hmm. And she does it on a regular basis. And apparently a lot of tourists try to hike it who are totally unprepared. And about halfway up or a third of the way up, there's this Bob guy. And he's an old fart, and he's got this big ice chest.
So he's just bailing tourists out.
Bailing tourists out. He's got water. He's got some first aid stuff and blister, meds, that kind of stuff. And so one day she's hiking up Camelback, and there's Bob, and there's this small group of people off to the side. And she goes, Hey, Bob, how's it going? He goes, oh, my God. Take a look. And, they're wearing sandals and cowboy boots.
Completely not prepared to hike.
Completely not prepared. Flannel shirt. Mountains, yeah. And he says, I ran out of water. Do you have any extra water? And she goes, yeah, I do. So she takes the water over to this small group of people and idiots. And, thank you very much. Oh, we really appreciate it. And so one of the guys says to her, well, what are you doing later tonight? And she says, I beg your pardon. I'm happily married. He goes, no. We're playing some music tonight, and we can leave some tickets at the door if you want to come. And she goes, well, how nice. What kind of music do you play? He says, oh, we're the Talking Heads.
Oh, I was about to say, here we go. They're famous.
Pretty funny.
Talking Heads, good at music, bad at wilderness survival.
Yeah. Don't follow them into the woods.
That's right. Go to their concert. Do not go camping with them.
Don't let them drop you in the river.
That's right. Here in my car. That is your problem. You're in your tent. You need to start this. But anyway, that's pretty good. Thank you as always, Matt.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it. And bristollawoffice.net is a place to check out.
And thank you all you veterans out there.
Absolutely. And thank you, Matt, for all you do in our community as well.
Absolutely.
Too, so. All right, 8 o'clock, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico, News and Progress.
His former acting ICE director will serve as border czar in the new administration, and New York Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik has been tapped to serve as the next ambassador to the UN. Well, it's Veterans Day, and President Biden will commemorate the day in the traditional fashion.
For the final time in his presidency, Mr. Biden will mark the observance at Arlington National Cemetery by participating in the traditional wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Following that, he will give a speech paying tribute to the nation's veterans and war heroes.
White House correspondent Craig Clugston. California not alone in combating destructive and deadly wildfires. Tinder dry conditions and gusty winds are fanning the flames on both coasts, including along the New York-New Jersey border. That's where an 18-year-old New York State Parks employee died after being struck by a falling tree. An arrest in a deadly homecoming weekend shooting at Tuskegee University in Alabama. The suspect said to be in possession of a handgun with a machine gun conversion device. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow is up 488 points. The Nasdaq down 48 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
One person says everything was moving, including her home's walls. Powerful earthquake rattled parts of Cuba over the weekend.
A 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook eastern Cuba on Sunday after weeks of hurricanes and blackouts that have left many on the island reeling. The epicenter of the quake was located about 25 miles south of Bartolomé Mazo in Cuba, according to a report by the United States Geological Survey. The rumbling was felt across the eastern stretch of Cuba, including in bigger cities like Santiago de Cuba. There were no immediate reports of damage or injuries. I'm Karen Chamas.
And in the aftermath of the devastating flooding that claimed hundreds of lives in eastern Spain, tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets of Valencia protesting the government's handling of the disaster response. Emergency alerts had failed to go out until hours after the flooding began. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to our number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Indeed. Welcome to it.
Yes, hope you're having a delightful Veterans Day. Yes, big thank you to everyone that came out. Juliana Halverson posted a bevy of pictures of Veterans Day on Facebook there, and I got this. There's actually a picture of me. I was like, ooh, that's actually a good pic of me. I don't see many good pictures of me.
That's my good side.
Yeah, a picture of me. I'm like, hey, I actually don't look too hideous in that picture.
Sometimes you got to get the right angles.
Yeah.
Like Drake said, you got to know your angles.
Yeah, well, you tell when a professional photographer takes a picture versus just somebody with a camera.
And then there's those serendipitous ones, like you just get the snap at the right time. This was years and years ago. This was when Rhiannon was like a baby, when I could still, lift her up in the air. It was one of the 4th of July celebrations. We're out at Cielo Grande, and I can't remember if it was Papa or Carletta who snapped a picture of me hoisting Rhiannon in the air, and there was a firework right around where she was.
Very, very Lion King-like.
It was really cool. It was like perfect timing.
Mustafa up there.
Yeah. I see it every now and again in my memories. It was perfect timing.
He looks at it all of a sudden. Oh, whatever that song from the
I'm glad she got that picture. That was right before I dropped her. No, I'm kidding. Whoops.
That's why we wear helmets around this house.
All the time, in fact.
That's right. But we had a great... by the way, we had 2 amazing parade marshals that were a part of the Veterans Day celebration on Saturday. We had Leon Ferrer and his wife, Marie. Leon is a 99-year-old World War II Army Air Corps vet.
Oh, wow.
And his lovely wife, Marie, was there with him. Which, by the way, those 2 have been married for 80 years.
Man.
80. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. By that point, I mean...
That's impressive,
man. Obviously, we start losing our sense of hearing over the course of a lifetime. You got to imagine that's really come in handy over the last 20 or so.
I must say, it's not always a bad thing. Yes, I can agree as a man who's been married for one-fourth of that time.
Considering as soon as I said sense of hearing, you knew exactly where I was going. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, they got I got less than a quarter of that time on them, but I've learned that lesson in that time. But yeah, that was so amazing. So we had Leon and his lovely wife Marie, but then we had a second World War II veteran, Virgil Haynes, I believe.
Okay.
I hope I didn't mess that up. I believe Virgil Haynes. I believe that was his name.
Okay.
I'm like Haynes. I think it's Haynes. Sorry, I've slept since then, and my brain just had a brain fart. But Virgil is a 98-year-old World War II Navy veteran.
Wow.
And so we were blessed to have 2 awesome parade marshals, and folks hopefully got a chance to meet him and talk with him a little bit. Virgil's pretty spry. Like, he was like Leon and his wife. They were relegated to wheelchair. But Virgil was walking around and chit chatting and very.
At one point, he jumped up and clicked his heels.
Did some karate. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen.
Guy broke a board with his his face. It was crazy.
He came off the top rope and did a ladder match. It was weird.
That's awesome, though.
But yeah, it was really cool. And thank you to everyone that came out. Yes. We had a great representation of folks in the parade, and hopefully everyone had a good time. And weather was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was.
We've had colder ones and we've had warmer ones. That wasn't too bad on Saturday.
Honestly, kind of pretty nice all weekend.
Yeah.
It was get out there and do something weather.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, but today being Veterans Day proper, please take that time to remember those that have signed up to defend the freedoms that we enjoy and protect.
Absolutely.
So that's what Veterans Day. Now you're going to get that thing. Now today's that day to thank a veteran. I know you always get that wave when we get to like Memorial Day, and folks like don't thank me. I disagree. I say never an inappropriate time to thank a veteran.
It's never a bad time.
But Memorial Day is technically to honor those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice and have fallen in defense of this nation. Veterans Day is to honor all that have agreed to serve.
By the way, that's not to Veterans Day. You could still,
Yeah, right. I'm not trying.
Give honor to those who have fallen.
But if for people that because some people like to get sticky on the details and all that. And Veterans Day, today's the day that we honor all veterans that serve. Memorial Day is, though fine time to honor all veterans, is designated to honor those that have fallen in defense of this country.
So just dust off your DD-214, start at one end of the town, and just go to everyone. What do you got? Right. What do you got for me? Slap it on the counter. What do you got for me?
Right. And veterans, if you don't know this fact, which they usually tell you in all the out processing stuff, so you should know this, but actually do it. This is one of those things that's actually good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like, yeah, that's wonderful, and then don't do it.
Yeah.
Is when you got that DD-214 copy, and I hope they still, I don't know if they still do, but at least back when I was in and when I was getting out, it's very hard to replace that document if you lose it. You just can't roll up and request a new one. You got to go through a gauntlet of stuff to do that. That may have changed in the last 20 years, but I don't think it has.
I'm sure gotten worse.
Yeah, probably. But they give you the one copy, and then you hold on to it, and if you lose it, it's really hard. And then they always say things like register it with the clerk's office, which is not a bad idea. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, do at least what I did. I take that thing, and I made about 30 copies of it. And they're not all in one spot, either.
Just lift up the chair. Oh, there's one.
No, I have some off-site and some on-site. We'll just go with that.
I have 2 or 3 on my person at all times. I'm currently
I keistered 4 of them.
I'm concealed carrying 2 right now.
Yeah, I don't do that, but
I don't wear underwear anymore. It's just stapled DD-214s.
But I literally have like 10 or 12 copies sitting in a file cabinet at the house, and then I've got some off-site somewhere in case.
Is that one of those documents that you can't laminate?
Well, I don't technically know, because people want copies of it, so it's really hard to. It'd be dumb to laminate it because it's just hard to make more copies of it.
That's true, and this is something that has been memeified lately, and I've seen it a couple of times. You're given your Social Security card at birth. They say this is the most important card you're ever going to own. This is the most important number. Memorize it. Commit it to the back of your memory.
Yeah.
And we're going to print it on toilet paper. And you can't ever have it laminated.
Yeah.
It's like you're really screwing me over on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a replacement? $30, and you have to take a trip back home.
Right. And I'll never forget, like I have a different Social Security card than my original one.
Right.
But I will never forget when I was a kid and Dad and this was, I don't know. I was just old enough to learn cursive. So around that age, you're learning cursive. Around that time. I was, and he goes, all right, I'm now going to bequeath you your Social Security card, keep it. But, you have to sign it. And that's when because now I can sign cursive. So I guess he was like, oh, it's time for you to sign your name. And, of course, I started to sign, and I put Mike, and then and then he's like, no, you can't put nickname. You got to use your full legal name. And so if you looked at my originals, there's Mike with a line through it, and then it says Michael.
Just for clarification.
Yeah. That has been replaced since then. My current one doesn't do that. But, yeah, and I want to even say when I joined the military, that was my, like if you look at my Social Security card, Mike crossed the line through Michael.
I'll be honest with you. I have not seen my Social Security card in probably 38 years. I think they showed it to me once when I was like 3, and then they sorted it away.
Mine is in the box at the house. You shouldn't keep that on you either. That's one of those things that I would not recommend putting your Social Security card in your wallet. Keep that in a thing at your home because no one asks you to pull that out ever. Right. I have never whipped out my Social Security card for anity. People ask for my number.
I remember
fill out documents, but no one has physically asked for me to see my Social Security card.
I was in not BPA. I was in it was a computer club in middle school. This was at Eagle Ridge Middle School in Rio Rancho, and it was in that hallway, in that moment, that I'm like, you need to learn your Social Security number. And so I was like studying it, and it crystallized at that moment was when I learned my Social Security, and I haven't seen my card since.
Yeah. Well, my dad made me memorize it. I remember the whole memorizing and sitting down I have a card. It's sitting in the drawer where the DD-214s and all the other important stuff is. It sits there until I die, I guess. I have no idea.
I open the drawer every Veterans Day and say, time for daddy. Steak night.
Mama needs a free cheeseburger.
That's right.
All right, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few. Then we're going to replay our interview. Dara Dana joined us last week with the Daughters of the American Revolution. I play this again because the event of which she speaks is this afternoon at 1 o'clock here on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn, the dedication for the DAR placard. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a few.
Sir.
Later on the hour, we'll do the news of the local variety, all that, Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. But first, let's take a gander at your weather. This is a pleasant week of weather. Pound for pound, a good week of weather. You're going to enjoy this. This is the kind of weather you could take home to introduce to your parents.
There you go. Wholesome weather.
That's right.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area today, and we're expecting sunshine with our high between 70 and 75. Overnight, a few clouds drifting through. We'll drop to about 40 on the overnight low. Another nice day coming up on Tuesday. Sunshine and low to mid 70s, except upper 70s around the Carlsbad area. Then on Wednesday, we're expecting it to be a little bit cooler, mid 60s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 47 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 74%. Winds calm at the moment. Sunny and 70 for a high today. Winds will be out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. Skies will be cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 41 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy and 74 for a high tomorrow. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 38 degrees and west winds at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny and 66 for a high. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10. Sunny and 69 for Thursday. And then 74 and sunny on Friday. Pushing 80 on Saturday. Mostly sunny, 79 for a high on Saturday. And then we are looking at a 30% chance of showers Sunday. Partly cloudy, 68 for a high there. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Dara Dana and the Daughters of the American Revolution, talking about their dedication ceremony today on the courthouse lawn. That's up next. Don't go away.
A bedroom is a quiet escape where I go for peace and comfort. This is Melanie at Glenn's Furniture. I know how important the most private room in your home is for your life and the lives of your family. That's why we offer a selection of bedroom groups that make living easier and more comfortable. Modern designs, bold curves, and stylish fabrics elevate your bedroom space. You'll find your new set easy to sleep on and even easier to own. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you.
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Attention, Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Ford knows recovering from an unexpected natural disaster is stressful, and our hearts go out to everyone who experienced loss due to the flooding. The damage left behind is devastating, but we're already seeing what it means to be Roswell strong, and we acknowledge and appreciate the heroic efforts of local authorities, first responders, and National Guard rescue teams. We've already received and continue to receive special shipments of new Fords and quality pre-owned vehicles available for immediate delivery during our massive Super tent sale. It's at our temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. These new and pre-owned vehicles without flood damage are being offered to the public at unprecedented savings. We've instructed our staff to take any car in any condition. In fact, even if it doesn't run, we'll come get it and give you a generous allowance toward a new Ford or high-quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll work with your insurance company to help you get what you deserve at Roswell Ford's temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. Thank you.
You have a life, places to go, things to do, people to see, but it's hard to enjoy life when you have pain. You don't have to live that way. Softwave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell can help you. Softwave's cutting-edge technology is non-invasive and can help your body heal. This new technology uses therapeutic energy waves to activate the body's dormant stem cells to promote natural healing. Sessions are quick with short treatment times. Start healing today. Call Premier Chiropractic at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he was from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:25, and now officially in the studio, Dara Dana, by day County Commissioner, by night daughter of the American Revolution.
Yes.
Actually, it could be day. It just fluctuates. But she wears two hats.
I'm not Yo Quiero Luca.
There you go.
I'm going to have to find me a name now.
That's right. You know
but
what?
It's going to begin with Yo Quiero.
There we go. I don't know, with the Dara Dana, I feel like you could ride that into something.
Yeah,
the
that's
DD.
true.
You
DD.
could do something. Dynamite, something in there. We could work it in there.
The first time I ran for state rep, when you run, you have it as your official what's on your voter registration. It was Dara A. Dana.
Okay.
I had a guy call me and he said, I think this is you, but I'm not real sure I really want to vote for you. But this sign says Dara Dana. And I kind of sat there going, this has got to be a joke. And he was serious.
Yeah.
He was like, is that you?
Yes,
I
I'm a
said,
sheep.
yeah, it's Dara A is my middle initial Dana. So when you run for office, please take out all those things. What you're known as. We always tell everybody.
Sure.
If you're known as Smiley Wooten, go by Smiley Wooten.
Yeah, go with what they're going to know you.
Hubcorn, if you're known by Hubcorn, because people know you by your name and not by all, well,
They
this
don't know
is
your,
my given name
your
or
Christian
whatever.
name or legal name or whatever that is. Yeah.
So I immediately after that election dropped the A and just went with Dara Dana.
Good deal.
And
does
that
flow
helped.
like Dara Dana.
Yes, Dara Dana.
Works in radio, works
And
everywhere.
everybody keeps telling me, did your parents do that? I said, no, I did that.
Yeah.
I married that. And my best friend used to always tell me, you swore you wouldn't marry him because your name would be Dara Dana. I said, yeah, I fell in love, I guess.
Well, life, what you want and what life takes you sometimes is not always the same thing.
But it works, And my maiden name is Farley. So when you have to ask, what's your maiden name? And it's Farley. And they look at me like, Farley Food, Fun, and Pub?
Right.
And I said, yeah, Farley Food, Fun, and Pub. But I don't own it.
Right. I don't get to
wish.
see any of that. I have to work for a living.
But it's really fun to get their swag. And I'll wear T-shirts or I'll wear their hoodies. And they'll look and it's like, yeah, this is my maiden name.
Well,
it's like, well, I thought so, but I didn't quite understand how'd you get a hoodie?
Well, if you guys ever have a Farley family reunion on a cruise ship, you'll have the T-shirts already.
Yes.
You know how they have those
Yes,
family reunions?
we don't have to,
Just go to Farley's and grab a bunch of shirts.
And grab. Well, what was nice is for Christmas, all the Farleys got Farley stuff. It was like, that was easy.
That's right.
And Killer Dana out, a surf shop out in out in California, everybody gets Killer Dana.
Ah, cool.
T-shirts and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're set. We're set for life. Take advantage of it.
That's right.
It helps the small business. Plus,
absolutely,
we get the coolest swag in town.
That's right. And people are happier after a cheeseburger.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. There you go.
But we would love to invite folks on Veterans Day. We talk about the Saturday ceremony and all the school events and everything. Of course, the NIMI breakfast on Monday. Of course, there's the Veterans Dinner at First United on Monday night as well, too.
Not wonderful.
But at 1 o'clock on Saturday, right here on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn, we're going to do a special dedication. And this is the part that's cool. And this is what I was talking with Dara last time she was on. I didn't realize that the Daughters of the American Revolution have a strong presence in New Mexico. I remember growing up in Maryland. It's very, East Coast. It's kind of, they think more about stuff like that down there. It's not as on the radar out here.
Right.
And so I was very pleasantly surprised. He said, wow, not only do they have it, but it's pretty prevalent, pretty strong. Every corner of the state's got DAR representation. It's really, it was a nice thing to see. So if you're as aloof to that as I was, and come on out Saturday or Monday.
Saturday or Monday. Yeah, like you said, I keep getting everything.
Right, everything's turned around and twisted.
The guys called me the other day, and they said, "Now what day?" And I was saying Monday, and then I went Saturday, and they went, "Commissioner, what day?" And I said, "Monday." Okay, so we have to have it done by Monday, and I said, "Yes, Monday."
Yes. But it is a Monday.
Yeah, and that's kind of when we were looking at dates.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some of the ladies have to travel. I don't know how it's going to be on Monday, but they said, well, what about Saturday? And I said, no, I don't want to interfere with other stuff that's going on. We have a parade, and I want people to come out. Like you said, come out, bring your flags, honor those that took the time to come out and make a parade.
Absolutely.
You see parades everywhere. I grew up in Alamogordo. And we would walk down to 10th Street. That was our main street. And that was tradition. You know, you did it for 4th of July. You did it for Veterans Day. You did it for the fair. And it was a big deal. You know, everybody comes out. And, you know, if people...
It's a community gathering.
Yes, yes, it is. And it's fun. And you'll enjoy it. And like I said, a teachable moment for your kids. This is how you honor
And if you want to see the heart of our community... Come out on Saturday. This is like, you know, we've been showing a lot of heart lately with flooding and seeing so much great stuff. But those Veterans Day is, you know, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, several years now. You doing emceeing it and all that and doing this. And there's been years where it's colder and all get out there. And you're like, what are we all doing? Standing here at 9 o'clock in the morning. But guess what? There's a couple hundred people out there.
There is.
And standing no matter how. And then there's been years where we're in shorts almost too.
Right.
But that to me that's actually the part that kind of makes me happy is like it could be the worst of weather or the best of weather and we still get these couple hundred people that come out here and support and be a part of this and to me and that really just shows that heart. You really see the love and the and respect and just everybody coming together. Everybody's happy. Everybody's just celebrating America, celebrating our community, celebrating the people that and it's a Veterans Day celebration, but it is your Roswell locals celebration. We you know every one of those folks sitting in those cars and stuff call Chavez County home in some way, shape, or form. And these are your heroes. These are people that volunteered. Or were ordered to go serve their country. Some of them in times of peace, some of them in not so much of that stuff. And there's various levels, but we honor every single one of them because they all sign their name on their contract to say that they are giving up their constitutional rights to defend you and what this country stands for. And that's exactly what you do when you sign up to be a United States service member. You give up your constitutional rights. You are no longer protected by the United States Constitution. You fall under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It is not the same as your United States Constitution. You do not have the same rights under the UCMJ. And you would be surprised if you read in there exactly what you can and cannot do as a member of the United States military. A lot of things that you think, and things like protesting. Things like you stand out in the streets and protest as a member of the military. You just can't roll up and do those kinds of things, and you will face punishment if you break those rules. That will impact your whole life.
Exactly.
Not just pay a fine and be out the door. No, things that will make it really hard for you to get a job or credit or any of these other things. So this is the sacrifices we're talking about now, and that's not even the ones that lost. They're paid the ultimate sacrifice. We're just talking people that signed up for 4 years or whatever amount of time to do their duty, you know.
And that's why we wanted to come together and do this. Pay homage, pay tribute, remember whatever you want to call it to the first patriots, our first veterans of the American Revolution. A lot of people, older people, young people, whatever, don't understand the American Revolution. They don't, they kind of gloss over it now. It used to be a big deal.
Speaking of protesting, that really, that was America's big protest against Britain.
Very much so. Very much so. We were trying to become an independent country. We were telling the king we did not want to be under his rule.
And by sending that Declaration of Independence, and this is the part that some people may not realize, every single individual that signed the bottom of that, in essence, became criminals,
targets, yeah,
and wanted for treason,
led a horrible life.
And
afterwards.
had the Revolutionary War not gone the way it went, those people would have been hanging from ropes at the end.
And a few of them were. I mean,
some of them didn't.
Yeah,
end in the fates you
right.
wish.
So I mean, and you look back. I mean, my parents have genealogy. They were just really into it when Mom retired and stuff. And we have books, and I go through that every now and then and read. People documented a lot, either diaries or your wills or your whatever. And I mean, some of the hardships, I so-and-so have 5 acres and I got this 5 acres through, I mean, they give a lineage on how they acquired all of this.
Well, really, that's the only history they have, the only document. So it's literally, spoiler alert, they didn't have computers and storage systems and things. Literally, someone had to annotate it, store it in some kind of thing, a clerk's office of some kind, which, again, we should create one of those.
In order for it to be, A, historical, but B, your family, what's your inheritance and where your belongings go.
Sure. Well, and if you look at the original 13 colonies, all these were lands granted by the king, basically saying, you are a good, loyal subject of Britain. I bequeath you this land, which later becomes Maryland or Pennsylvania or Virginia. That's how these were all landowners and the names that they came from. And so we're from their point of view, we were still these territories of them and all this but at the same time, we did have no say in how government was run. We were not represented in the House of Commons or the House of Lords and all that stuff. And hence where we are. And of course, you've heard the Tea Party and the Stamp Acts. But all of this is that contributing thing that you're talking about here. It's, you look at it from our lens this year, but if you look at it from their lens, and think about today, and you think about the things you're dealing with today. That's but times 100 there.
Yes, it's minuscule.
There's literally and let's be honest. We read the textbooks, and not everybody was pro. There were still a lot of loyal British subjects living in the colonies, and we're like, no, I want to be a British subject. I don't want to be an American.
Right.
And so this wasn't as black and white as you think. We had to fight tooth and nail for it, and we had to earn it. And quite frankly, this is why we celebrate our founding fathers.
Yes.
You talk about what George Washington did. Forget the president stuff.
Right.
George Washington, the general, and how he built the army, and basically from nothing, and basically ducked and covered until we could get strength to hit him and surprise him. Basically, he was limping that army along, trying to keep it alive until we got French support and more reinforcements and more money and more guns and more everything.
Yes.
But basically, they were ducking and covering for the first couple of years until they could get resources. And George Washington was the sole reason we survived that period.
And it kind of irritates me when we had a few years ago, we saw people taking down statues or marking them up or whatever. And it broke my heart because as a person who loves our American history and our heritage, I wanted to take the Mr. Microphone and go out and say, why are you doing this? Who is this person? And I bet you they couldn't tell you who it was or what the significance of it was.
Sure.
They were there with the mob mentality. It's a racist or whatever, and it has to come down.
Yep.
And I mean, even in Albuquerque, in Santa Fe, they had that. They put it back up because people just absolutely came unglued and said, no, do you understand why this is here? You better learn why it's here, and you better get it back up.
That's the point I'm making. And I would even argue, I know this is not as popular opinion on this, but, when they were ripping down Civil War statues and things like that, and I'm like, look, those aren't here necessarily to celebrate Robert E. Lee or whoever it is. It's to understand. And to be honest, if you do your deep dive on Robert E. Lee, he's a great American.
Yes.
The only reason you vilify him today because he was born and raised in the state of Virginia.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
As far as a man and a general and a human being, he's really, actually, if you study the history, he's a very, very good man.
Yeah.
He just was born in Virginia, and he had a loyalty to Virginia over everything else.
Right.
And to live in those times, you'd have to understand that the world's a lot bigger
Yes.
And these are people that they were born and raised in a state, and they never left the state.
Right.
That's the mindset we're talking here. You didn't have phones telegraphs weren't even a thing till the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't even get that was the infancy of that technology.
It was a person going from
railroads.
very brave.
They just were
person going out.
We couldn't go from east to west yet on a railroad. From that came later.
Right.
So really, you were isolated, and so to judge a person by saying, "Well, no." Yes. Basically, Virginia was. He doesn't think of United States. He thinks of Virginia.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. That's all he lives. And if someone's saying Virginia's not part of this, well, I'm with Virginia.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that. And so when you
have to and teach too, and understand and learn why. I mean, that's why when we came up with this plaque, I was approached by the regent from Sierra Blanca.
Mm-hmm.
Paula Lasco, and she said, hey, we want to do America 250. We're going to be celebrating America's founding, 250 years in 2026. And our national regent, they always take on a project. And this was her project.
Okay.
Let's celebrate America, but let's start now and then roll into the 2026.
Excellent.
And so when Paula approached me, she sent me pictures, and I said, yeah, this would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And can we do it here? And she said, well, let me come to Roswell. I'm a visual. And I said, I'm a visual too.
Let's scope it out.
Let's scope it out. So we went to the courthouse lawn. We found the blue star that was donated by the Garden Club many years ago on the lawn. And she had her piece of material because there was 2 different sizes, and we laid it out and decided which one we were going to do. I approached Bill Williams, our county manager, and said, can we do this? And he was all excited.
I'll say
he was all excited.
Bill's a history buff as well, too.
Very much so. And he said, yes, it fits in perfect with everything that we have on the courthouse lawn.
I agree completely.
Memorializing our history, our veterans. And so...
And I also hope, too, it gives an opportunity for folks to remember and spotlight the people and things we're already honoring up there.
Yes.
We walk by that thing 100 times a day. We do it. You may even sit down and have lunch next to it and don't really pay attention to it.
They don't. And I tell you, every time I see a person, or meet a person that comes to Roswell, the first thing I say, is, okay, go to the UFO Museum, because it's got a lot of really cool history about Walker Air Force Base.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's not just UFO.
That timeline they have there really.
Walker Air Force Base.
Yeah,
I love to go through
absolutely. Yeah, they got all the science fi stuff and all that. And that's cool too to me because I like seeing the movie. But you're right. The actual nuts and bolts history of it. If you sat down and start reading the articles and the placards and the timelines,
pictures is just that's history.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, go to the Roswell Museum, go to Anderson Museum, go over to the Southeastern Historical Museum, go to Bitter Lakes, go to Bottomless Lakes. We're more than just UFOs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Come for the aliens, stay for everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah.
And that's what I told them. And if you want me to, I will give you a tour. And then we'll end on where the good margaritas are.
There's your thing. I could see the bus now. Daradana Tours.
Yes.
DDT.
I was asked years ago to be a tour guide on the bus that went out to Leprino.
Okay.
And so one of the things you had to do was when they took a specific route and you got to talk about some of the stuff. I had a blast.
Cool.
I really did. I was just did you?
I can picture you as and it's always like when you see it in movies, it's like that double-decker bus.
Yes.
And there's the one in the front with the microphone. It's like on the left, you'll see Elton John's house or whatever
exactly.
it is. Yeah, I could totally picture you being
I was
that person.
having a blast. I tell people all the time, go down to Pioneer Plaza.
Yeah.
Go look at the Chisholm statue.
See all the hidden stuff in there.
And read the names.
Yeah.
My name's on there.
Yeah.
Because we were part of that.
Absolutely.
Senator Rod Adair had asked us, and we were all, yes, we will do that.
But there's a lot of symbology in that thing,
yes,
too.
There is.
And Easter eggs, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. But we have great history here, but our first history is what we want to highlight, too. And that's kind of what Daughters of the American Revolution is about.
And that's what
following
you also
our
find,
genealogy.
Yeah, but that's what you also find on the Veterans Memorial itself. Like if you ever walk up there, all of our gold stars in
Yes.
Chavez County are on that thing. Every person that made an ultimate sacrifice that's from here in Chavez County, their name is on that placard.
Yeah.
Thank God there's not a long list.
Right.
But there is
right.
a list of
There
people
is a
there.
list,
And
yes, yes.
unfortunately we're probably going to have to add some names over time here
Right.
as life
Right.
goes on. But that's what that's why I'm kind of like, I hope they come out for the DR thing, and then they realize, oh man, I didn't realize there was this much to the actual veteran ceremony or the statue itself.
Right.
So please come out and be a
Well,
part
it
of that.
is, and it's not, back in the day, everybody thought, oh, Daughters of the American Revolution, these are a bunch of old white ladies and stuff. And we have, with all of the genealogy places that you can go
Yeah.
now,
It's probably growing.
we have African Americans, we had slaves that actually fought. We just found out with our new regent, her project was finding out about the Navajos.
Excellent.
Navajos can apply. They were part of the American Revolution.
And you wouldn't think
they
of that so
traveled
much,
to
but it
Santa
does
Fe
make
and
sense.
gave $1 towards the American Revolution Fund.
That's awesome.
And she has names that were actually documented. Some
Sure.
did get their documentation from Santa Fe, some did not.
And
But who would have thought that?
I'm going to take a stab that obviously probably not so much Navajo in our western
Right.
Native American tribes,
Right.
but your Algonquins and some of your East Coast tribes.
Yes.
I'm willing to bet there was a lot of natives that were serving in the
Right.
Continental Army
Right.
in some way, shape, or form.
But you that's part of it is
Yeah.
having a person so passionate about it and saying, what if? What about this person? What? And you start finding the lines,
Sure.
and it goes back, and it's really, you can do it by hand and have fun.
Absolutely.
Like my mom did.
It's like a treasure hunt.
They went everywhere. She found a cousin in Missouri that she didn't know she had.
That's awesome.
And she was so excited
I do
to
like
find
those,
this person.
those shows that they have where they'll get like a celebrity.
Finding
and then
your roots.
Yeah,
I am
and usually,
hooked.
most time
on
it's in
finding
Europe
your
or
roots.
something. But yeah, they'll usually
It's
find out
so
all kinds
cool
of stuff.
because I hope other people are watching that because they just assume by the way we look, this is who we are.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, go find because
Life has many twists and
my
turns.
mother could have sworn on the Farley end of it, we were Ireland Farleys. So for their 60th wedding anniversary, they went to Ireland and they had a blast and everything. But she was trying to find a coat of arms and come to find out, all roads led to Great Britain. So she was like, oh, okay.
And
I didn't get to that part of it.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of like I did like the DNA 23andMe type
Yes,
deals.
yes.
I did, and I knew I was Irish English.
Right.
And that's
yeah,
kind of
that's about what it is.
that
It's
kind of
not-
jived with me.
yeah,
But to be
yeah.
honest, what I didn't realize was I had a little smidge of Scandinavian in
Yeah.
there, and of course, then you get in the hodgepodge of like there's little German,
Yes,
little Italian,
yeah.
little.
We're all mutts.
Yeah.
But, everybody.
But if you looked at the
we're-
maps,
we're
it
mutts.
was England and
Yeah.
then Scandinavia,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where my little map kind of
Right,
went there.
right.
Whereas my wife, she actually had a little bit of African in hers as
Mhm.
well too. So, and that again, to your point, you do the DNA test, and you're like, why do I have lineage to this?
Right.
Because life happens.
Yes.
Things happen. People listen
move.
there. And
People, especially back in the day,
Yeah.
they came over. They went through Ellis Island. And that was a documentation.
Sure.
That's why everybody's like, come in so everything can be documented.
And the United States
because
is a
that's
true
history.
melting pot.
Yes.
That's
And then you know where your aunt, uncle, grandma, great went to. They didn't stay there. They went to Ohio. Ours went to Ohio. Ours went to Missouri.
Absolutely.
Ours, and now
It's really-
my dad came to New Mexico. I'm first generation New Mexican.
Yeah. And
His
depending
dad
on the
came
time
from
frame,
Arkansas.
when they're doing expansion west, maybe they came in at a time where they said, well, I'll get, and they were literally doing, you ever seen that Tom Cruise movie that came out in the 80s and Nicole Kidman where they're, I can't remember the name of it, where they're, but that was a thing,
Yes,
as America
Right.
expanded and all that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
And I would also offer this, you'd mentioned Ellis Island, and I've been there once. If you get a chance to go to New York City and to the Statue of Liberty and all, the Ellis Island experience, you got to do it. Allow it a full day at least in there. And I'm not, and it's at the Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty is wonderful, and you're going to climb and see it. But the real meat of that stay is Ellis Island and the museum, because you see everything. Like, obviously, you can.
Right.
They have the books, and you can actually go through and find your ancestors. And if you know them, you can see where they basically signed in as Americans
Yes.
and do that. But you see the lifestyle, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
From the processing to the
Yes.
cells and the treatment, and
Yep.
not all of it's pretty.
Right.
But you learn what your ancestors did to become American citizens to get here.
Yes.
And Ellis Island, that's how you did it. You know,
Right.
for the longest period of time,
Right.
you want to become American, there's where you go. You boat in and
Yes.
you do the paperwork, and you know, depending on, you know, where you're from, or if you had a name or he didn't have a name. A lot of people got names there.
They did. They got names, or they changed their names, or whatever, because of the spelling or whatever. They couldn't spell
And
right
then the
or
history,
whatever.
like
yeah.
when you get to those shows,
It's
you
so
go back.
Cool.
Here's where that happened when they got to Ellis Island.
It's so cool. And then, you know, there's like I said, other ways that you can kind of find stuff. But it's. I went to. A couple of months ago to a citizenship ceremony, and we have 51 new citizens, and 30 of them.
Those are very cool.
I was in tears. In tears because what they have to do. My ex-sister-in-law, it took her 7 years, and she was so proud.
Absolutely.
So proud of it. She showed us all the stuff that they
and they're
gave
more knowledgeable
her.
Americans, pound
Very
for pound.
much so. And her
Pound for
English,
pound.
she was from Bosnia.
Yeah.
When we first met her, we couldn't
They know your
understand
Constitution
her.
better than you do.
And when she became a citizen, her English, and then she decided, well, she was an English teacher in Bosnia, so she went and got her credentials and taught English here in Florida.
You don't realize how lucky you get it by being natural sometimes?
Yes, what they have to do, but they did it the right way. And then they walked over to the clerk's little table, and they became registered voters.
And then we celebrate them and honor them.
We do.
And guess what?
It was so beautiful.
They all come because they've got that pride, they've got that energy, and all of them come and live their dream here in the United States.
Right.
And that's how you do it. And that's
right.
And that's why we celebrate it. But this is what you folks that are born here and that you need to stop taking for granted what you have here in this country. Yes, these folks, like, you walk around today and you could walk around and barely ask who your vice president is, and you're going to get a 50-50 shot of someone knowing it.
Yes.
You know, and these folks, they have to know everything about the process of the Constitution, our government, the checks and balances. They have to know the ins and outs of this working to be a U.S. citizen. That's part of it. It's not just knowing the pledge and knowing. You got to know a little of the history. You gotta know how the government operates. You didn't have to learn that. I mean, they were taught whether you paid attention, but it's not a law for you to be here to know this stuff. For them, it is. And so that's why we
did that one time for one of our DAR. We have DAR meetings. We have about 4 meetings a year with the Roswell chapter, and we give presentations or whatever. And one time, one of our members said, I want to be, can I be the program? And we said, sure. And she goes, okay, you're going to love this. And she gave the program on the citizenship test. And everybody flunked. And we're like, hey, we should know this stuff. We're DAR.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I'm calling all of us. I'm not talking about people. All of us need to know more about our
we
government.
Thought we would ace it no problem. So,
and quite frankly, I'm going to end it here because I don't want to get political. But quite frankly, the more you know about how your government works, the less they can pull the wool over your eyes. That's all I'm saying.
And that's kind of what we saw, I think, on Tuesday. We all kind of hang our heads sometimes and go, really, are people going to wake up and see what they're doing? And they did, and I have hope. I think they did. But like I said, we as Daughters of the American Revolution, our chapters here, we have 4 chapters: El Portal, Sierra Blanca, Thomas Jefferson, out of Portales, Clovis, and the Roswell chapter will be gathering at 1:00 on the courthouse steps.
Yes.
This Monday.
It's free. It doesn't cost, or just
and
come
you
on
don't
down.
have to be. Come find out. We will have materials for you to find out how to become.
Yeah, if you want to
Daughters
learn
of the
more
American.
about becoming a DR,
and it's easy.
Do you guys have a contact to the
We do.
SAR as well too?
Sons of the American Revolution.
So if there's any fellas out there that you think,
and
reach out.
Our color guard is going to be a little gal, and she is Children of the American CAR. Yeah.
So we got DAR, SAR, and CAR.
Yes. acronyms. Everybody loves
Love it.
acronyms.
Oh, military,
yeah.
you can't be in one without an acronym.
Red Cross. When I came to Red Cross, I got so frustrated. I went to a class training in Dallas, and I finally raised my hand, and I said, okay, I am so new to this. You guys are talking in acronyms. I have no clue what you're talking about.
You're talking a foreign language to me.
And so they said, oh, okay, we will get you. And it was 2 pages. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, it's like being in the military.
And then you get really mad when you got, wait a minute, you got 2 acronyms that the same acronym has 2 different meanings.
Yes,
Which way?
yes,
well, you got to know in the
exactly.
context of the conversation.
Yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
Why do you make it this hard?
I know. Yeah.
But anyway.
But we want to invite everybody
Absolutely.
on Monday, November the 11th at 1 p.m. on the courthouse steps. It
Yes.
will be outside.
Yes. Rain or shine, but
rain or
it's supposed
shine.
to be,
It's supposed to be
beautiful,
nice.
sunny, and 70.
I keep checking. And we're going to have the New Mexico Military Institute choir. They're going to sing the national anthem.
Beautiful.
We will have a color guard there. We will have speakers. And then we will unveil. And I got a sneak peek. Our Chaves County Facilities Maintenance guys sent me pictures.
So looking pretty impressive.
They learned, why are you putting this up here?
Awesome.
And they sent me several pictures, and then a picture, they're just so proud, and I just told them, thank you so much. Chaves County. This is a gift from Chaves County to Chaves County.
Well,
I love it.
We're excited.
Love it.
We're so happy to see it, and I would love to get as many people out on the courthouse lawn here again. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Monday.
Yes.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Come for the dedication of the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution placard at the Veterans Memorial on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn at 1 p.m. Come be a part. Come see the ceremony. And by the way, if you've never actually checked that out, please take time to read and look at that memorial and see the amazing folks that that are honored. And
ours is going to be a little pomp and circumstance too, because when we do a program like this, there is certain things that we have to do in order to, that is protocol.
There's
for
always
us.
pageantry and yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Protocol.
It's a nice ta-da. And
same thing with
let me tell you, DIR does ta-das. We
no
know
different
how
than
to
your
do
VFWs or American Legions or any of those as
and
well,
there's
too.
a reason for it. You have people that walk in going, boy, this is, and it's like, there's a reason for it. Find out why.
And all the military stuff. It's the same thing there. The symbolism, why we do, saluting, all of that. There's reasons for all of this.
There is.
There's history, there's reasons
It's cool. It's history.
Yep.
Learn it, please.
Absolutely. So,
yes.
But come out. And by the way, if you think maybe you might have, or if you just want to know.
want to know, how do I become?
Reach out.
How do I find out? We have people that will help you. We have the Wilson Cobb genealogy.
Yeah, that's a great resource.
It's a great resource. We helped with opening of that.
If for whatever reason people can't make it out on Monday, but they really do want more information about DAR, is there a phone number or a website or a place you can steer them to?
We have our state website that you can contact and go to the state. Just Google, New Mexico DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution.
Okay.
And everything kind of pops up, and then everybody's contact, no matter where you are, you can contact.
Excellent.
You'd be amazed at how many chapters we do have here.
And I imagine when they see new people, they're like, "Oh, great!" Because like you said, there's probably a lot of people. It's under people's radar, and so when they find out, they're like, "We want to get them in and blow it up as much as possible."
Because I'm getting older, and so I have to pass the baton.
That is
on
kind
to
of what happens.
Other,
we have to get
all civic groups are going through the growing pains, and so. Find something and plug into it, no matter what it is.
Absolutely. That was another conversation we're talking about veterans, because, in VFW and American Legion, almost think they're old men and sit in bar stools. And now your veterans today are gamers and things like that. They're in their 30s, and 20s. And so, but
that's cool.
Well, we're listening. So
we're getting there.
But as always, thank you, Dara, for everything you do.
Appreciate it.
Whatever hat you're wearing, we appreciate you
and
here.
Your county is doing marvelous.
We're doing great.
Thank you very much. Your county is working very well with the city of Roswell. And all of the,
FEMA
our
and everybody
staff
else.
is amazing. Our staff, even some of our staff was affected. And
well, hopefully those folks in Dexter,
Hagerman
were, be honest, they're kind of under the radar, because everyone's focusing on Roswell.
They are, but everybody is kind of pushing them down.
Good.
Hey, we got this. We got our grappler truck for the county, so now we can go to Midway and
Roswell
Dexter.
got the spotlight, but they were hammered pretty hard in those areas.
So we're working, I know I've talked to a lot of people in Midway and Dexter, and it's like, yes, trash is on their mind because they're wanting to get that away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
help's on the way. Or
Help's on the way.
But
Yes.
As always, thank you, Dana.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time.
I appreciate it.
All right, it is 8:58. Quick break before we get you in the news.
Individual assistance staff will be at the Roswell Recreation and Aquatic Center today. They'll be available to answer questions and help flood-impacted residents register for disaster assistance. FEMA staff will be at the facility at 1402 West College Boulevard until 5 p.m. today. This is a one-day assistance event, but FEMA is in the process of coordinating an ongoing, open, longer-term disaster recovery center. A Clovis mother has been acquitted of murder charges after a 5-day jury trial. 29-year-old Alexandra Romero was on trial for the shooting of Javier Jimenez in August of last year, after Jimenez reportedly broke into her home. Romero was facing life in prison if she was convicted. Defense attorneys, though, presented evidence showing Romero was being repeatedly stalked and threatened by Jimenez in the months leading up to the killing. Romero even sought help from police multiple times and was granted a protection order from a judge in Curry County. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chavis County Sports Report. Well, it's the end of the season for the Goddard Rockets, and to say the least, not the kind of season Rockets fans are used to. Goddard finishes with a 55-21 loss in the 5A playoffs at Lovington to finish with a 2-9 record. Meanwhile, in the 3A playoffs over the weekend, NMMI beats number 12 Hot Springs. NMMI was the 5th seed, 35-6 to move to 8-3 on the season. They'll play Socorro, another district team, this coming Friday at Socorro. Starts at 6 o'clock. Dexter, meanwhile, is in the 3A draw as well. They'll take on Hatch Valley, which beat Pewaukee on Friday. Gateway Christian plays today. The game was postponed because of snow over the weekend in the 8-man playoffs. Gateway hosts Clayton today at 1 o'clock. Clayton is the 5th seed, Gateway the 4th seed. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla Espanol.
Talk Radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News will be coming up here in just a few seconds. Stay tuned next hour. Around 9:15 or so, we're going to play our interview we had last week with Amy McVeigh-Teas from the Historical Society, talking about the Holiday with Friends event coming up on November 23rd. It's kind of because of the flooding and everything in the convention center, they canceled this year's Holiday Magic Arts and Crafts show. So they're doing a kind of a just little event to kind of help some of those vendors and things, offer a place for them to sell some stuff. So on the 23rd, they're going to have a little event at the Historical Society's archive facility to talk about it. So we're going to play that interview next hour. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Known as an uncompromising, outspoken champion of border security, former ICE Acting Director Tom Homan is President-elect Trump's choice for border czar in the new administration. And New York GOP Congresswoman Elise Stefanik being tapped as the next U.S. ambassador to the UN. Mr. Trump calls her an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. And we know of a couple of Republicans who will not be joining the new administration.
Donald Trump says he will not be inviting former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join his cabinet in the second term. He wrote on social media that he enjoyed and appreciated working with them and thanked them for their service. Haley ran a bruising campaign against Trump in the GOP primary, during which she said he was unfit to serve. Pompeo stayed mostly silent during the presidential campaign, but previously criticized Trump for mishandling classified documents. Greg Clugston, Washington.
It is an especially solemn day at Arlington National Cemetery. It's Veterans Day.
We have about 18 million veterans in the United States today. Most are male, and of course, more than half of them are over age 65 because of the past wars that we've been engaged in.
Military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. Today, President Biden is taking part in the traditional wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington. President Biden will host President-elect Trump at the White House on Wednesday. Mr. Biden will reportedly urge him to continue funding the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Kremlin rejecting reports that President Putin spoke last week with President-elect Trump about Ukraine. On Wall Street this morning, stocks trading higher. The Dow is up 385. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
There have been protests and clashes with police in the Spanish city of Valencia after hundreds died in recent catastrophic flooding.
Tens of thousands of Spaniards have marched in the eastern city of Valencia to demand the resignation of the regional president in charge of the emergency response to last week's catastrophic floods. More than 200 people died and others are missing. Some protesters clashed with riot police in front of Valencia City Hall at the start of their march to the seat of the regional government. Police used batons to beat them back. Regional leader Carlos Mazon is under immense pressure after his administration failed to issue flood alerts to citizens' cell phones until hours after the flooding started on the night of October the 29th. I'm Karen Chamas.
Pakistan's rail operators suspending all train service to and from a southwestern province where there was a suicide bombing over the weekend, left 26 people dead. Happened at a train station. Townhall.com. It is a sign of the season. New York City's Rockefeller Center gearing up for Christmas.
It's beginning to look a bit like Christmas over at Rockefeller Center in New York City with the arrival over the weekend of the giant Christmas tree. Head gardener Eric Bose says when he first saw the 74-foot Norway spruce in someone's West Stockbridge, Massachusetts yard, he knew it was the one.
I found this tree back in July of 2020. I went to look at another tree, stayed overnight. The next day I saw this tree right in front of me coming down the road, and I knew I had to knock on the door.
It's going to take 5 miles of light strands with more than 50,000 multicolored LED bulbs to wrap the tree. And on top, a star sparkling with 3 million crystals, all to be lit at a December 4th ceremony. Julie Walker, New York.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder. and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Veterans Day.
Indeed.
To all of our veterans out there that
And
serve.
a Monday to the rest of us.
And happy Monday. It is a holiday. You won't get mail today.
Yep.
The stock market is open today.
Banks are closed.
Banks are closed. Many businesses are open. I kind of read a list of some of the things I saw earlier, some national stuff doing various things for veterans there. I'm sure there's local ones too. Just check accordingly if you see them on Facebook or whatever. Get out there. Because usually a lot of our local merchants honor our veterans in some way, shape, or form too. So, get it. And by the way, too, something else I want to, since we're talking veterans and things, our American Legion Post 61 family for several years now, during this time of year, have been getting behind Wreaths Across America. And we are now in that window where now it's time. We're getting up. We're less than a month here to get your flag, your wreaths purchased. And if you're not familiar with this, Wreaths Across America, it's a veteran-started organization. And first off, they actually employ veterans to make wreaths. And so they make the wreaths, like a Christmas wreaths. And what they do is they get these wreaths and then you buy them. And they're, I think, $15 or $17 a piece. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
And then and what happens is they're going to deliver all the wreaths that people purchased. And then for Christmas, we'll go and put as many of these wreaths on the graves of veterans. We start at Memory Lawn Cemetery, and then whatever's left, we go to South Park, and we'll put one at the Veterans Memorial downtown and one out at McBride, and then we'll whatever. But anyway, we're asking for folks to go and purchase wreaths. You can purchase them in the name of your own loved ones or just want to buy them. If you go to our American Legion Post website, you'll find a link. Go to roswelllegion.org, and then you'll find a link that says Wreaths Across America. Click that, and that will actually take you to the page where you can order the wreaths and everything else. I think they do have package deals where you can buy like 5 at a time, 10 at a time, or whatever. And I believe they do offer a slight discount on that. I'm not sure. But anyway, and all the money raised from that goes back to veterans programs, veterans scholarships, veterans-related stuff. So it really kind of helps twofold. It helps veterans working, getting jobs, but it also helps with the other needs of veterans through the money raised through it. So I don't know the exact deadline, but it's coming up here towards the end of November to get those in. Go to roswelllegion.org if you'd like. I usually go there, and I usually do my 5 or 10 or so. I kind of do a thing there, but folks ask if you go check that. And like I said, if you want more information about Wreaths Across America and that organization, on the link there is a thing that tells you about where the money goes, what they support, and all that good stuff. So if you want to do some more research and reading on your own, it is all there. But I ask you to go support it.
You do need to watch your spelling, though, when you are looking for Wreaths Across America. It's WREATHS. If you type in Reeves Across America, REEVES, that's the defunct website that was the sponsorship for Christopher Reeves to roll his wheelchair across the country. It didn't work out for him.
I thought it was just a bunch of people named Reeves.
Now, the other thing is, if you accidentally put an I in there, you go to Wraiths Across America. That's a terrifying website. Now, understandably, their pitch, it's not the most favorable one, but they want to cast wraiths across America.
They do have
evil
a following.
Spirits. It should be fun.
They do have a following. They actually have a meeting where they meet once a month and they all gather and watch the movie The Wraith.
Yes.
The 1980s
And then
classic with
they
Charlie Sheen.
screech at the moon.
Which, by the way, the lady from that, what was her name? She was kind of a relatively major actor in that time. What is her name? It just went right out of my head. I found her very fetching at that time.
Let's find out. I'm trying to find the cast here.
As soon as you say it, I'm going to know the name.
Charlie Sheen. No.
That's it.
Yep.
Elizabeth
Cox?
She was in Just One of the Guys. She was
Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn. That's the lady.
Okay.
Sherilyn Fenn. If you remember the movie Just One of the Guys, you remember that where the girl pretends to be a dude for journalism?
There's been a lot of those.
But there was a girl that was into her and in love with her. That was Sherilyn Fenn.
Oh, okay.
There's also a movie she did where she plays some lady and she's like stuck by some guy and she has no arms and no legs and she's literally just sitting there as on a pedestal and talks the whole movie. I can't remember.
Is it called Boxing Helena?
Maybe. Boxing Helena. Yeah, I think that's her, Sherilyn Fenn, Boxing Helena.
Wow. She's just a torso.
Yeah.
I mean, that's method.
Yeah. But
She,
she was kind of relevant there for a minute in the 80s and maybe in the 90s where she was kind of but I always found her as a very, very easy on the eyes lady. It was one of my teenage boy crushes.
It would be the easiest boxing match ever. She ain't got no hands. She ain't got no feet. Watch them fast feet. I wish I could.
Her and Gary Sinise are going to do a movie together.
You ain't got no legs. You ain't got no feet. And credits roll.
That's right.
Hilarity ensues.
It's called Hanging Out with Bob. That's the name of the movie.
Matt.
He's hanging out with his arms. He's just sitting there hanging out with Bob.
No, this is a remake of What About Bob? That's what it is.
And it's just all those jokes. Remember those, what do you call a guy with one arm, no arms, no legs? It's just that movie, them doing various ones of here is Matt. Here's Bob. Here's Art.
I want to start a glove store. Yeah, well, I'm interested in looking into footwear. And then they dance in the middle. It's fun.
Oh, man. Anyway, so I'm sure about 10 people like, all right. And
but the point is, wreathsacrossamerica.com or roswelllegion.org.
And Sherilyn Fenn was pretty fancy.
And she was
pretty attractive back in the 80s.
She was an attractive lady.
This is why to this day I know Sherilyn Fenn movies. I found her quite the attractive lady. Like it was like we all as young
100%.
child, men, women, boys have our stable.
Men, women, boys
have our. But Daisy Duke was in mine. Sherilyn Fenn.
God, this shows my age.
Gray. Jennifer Gray. Not Jennifer Gray. She was in Buck Rogers and Silver Spoons. She's the something Gray. It's not Jennifer. It's she was the main woman, and she's the mom in Silver Spoons. She's also in the Buck Rogers TV
Erin
show.
Gray?
Erin Gray.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
She was one in my childhood stable of
Now
there was others too, but those were certain ones.
We won't talk about my childhood crushes because we won't talk about those. The ones that I remember are like Mandy Moore.
Okay.
From everything.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Doggone it. What's her name? Just went in my head. Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Okay.
Kelly Kapowski. Winnie Cooper. Danica McKellar. Who, by the way, I still follow on like shorts and TikTok and stuff. She's a math professor.
Oh wow.
Winnie Cooper is. Yeah, she got her doctorate.
I knew she was like an engineer genius. She was on she was on Big Bang Theory as a genius.
Was she?
She played, but she also did a Impractical Jokers bit where she was the punishment, and Murr had to go interview her while in a mankini oiled up. It didn't tell her why, and she's just reacting to him like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And he didn't know he had to basically interview
Winnie Cooper. And that's the thing is, they're a little older than I am.
Well, and I think he has a crush, like a childhood crush kind of thing.
Yeah, they're kind of the medium between your age and my age.
Yeah.
And so they grew up watching Winnie Cooper on.
Yeah.
Like, I had feelings for Winnie Cooper, but I was also far too young to know what those feelings were.
Right.
teenagers probably still have those same feelings for Winnie Cooper.
I remember being, because I think I may have been a little older, so I was kind of like, yeah, she's cute, but I'm more into whatever the next generation was above. But Brittany Fox was just another one I remember.
Yeah.
Remember her? She was, and when she did Playboy, oh boy, my dad that was the years that he got subscriptions to Playboy. He hid him under the bed. Spoiler alert, bad place to hide your adult material.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find.
Well, it's easy access. That's for everybody.
Yeah. Vanna White.
I went through a weird phase where most of my crushes and my childhood crushes were animated. Like, okay, everybody has talked about the girl from Roxanne from Goofy Movie, who, yes, absolutely, I was in love with. But this is the weirder one. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, not them. There was a
Chip
character.
is hot.
Yeah, hot. There's that shirt. There was a character called Gadget. She was
I
a
remember
little mouse
Gadget.
named Gadget.
I remember her. Yeah.
She was really cute. Like, she was really, really cute. I felt feelings.
The only time in my childhood that I recall, and this was even a little later childhood, because I was more probably in that window of boys interested in everything at age where stiff breeze and you're like excited. Anyway,
you mean 13 between 13 and 35? Right. Yeah,
in that window. But there was one, and it was the Cool World movie. If you remember the movie Cool World, and they had that's the one with Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
was the star, but they had an animated version of
Marilyn Monroe, basically, right?
Yeah, but it was, I think, Kim Basinger.
Okay,
was the character, the voice for it, and I was like, she's a cartoon, but
that woman has 4 different ways to say her last name.
Jessica Basinger.
Basinger. Bassinger.
Yeah.
Like 4 different ways to say your last name. Which one? And I've heard all of them. I still don't know what's right.
If I remember, in the heyday of Kim, I seem to remember most people calling her Kim Basinger.
Because I've heard Basinger a lot more than Basinger.
I feel like I heard it more as Basinger, but maybe not. I don't know. It didn't really matter. Just her.
That, of course, triggered another one for me, which was Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, that was like a couple years later. Yeah.
I still, to this day, am a sucker for the hair over one eye thing.
Yeah.
Melts me every time. I'm a sucker for that.
I also grew up in the age of when that rock and roll cartoon was a thing. Where, if you were a kid and you like rock music, it was very heavy metal. That was the name of that cartoon. I can't remember the name of it. And so that, and to be honest, that was
come with me on a journey to find my daughter's major boobage.
That was adult themed and acid tripped all rolled together.
Oh, that was in the restricted section of the video store.
Heavy
if you
metal.
wanted to watch heavy metal.
If you watch it now, you're like, why?
Yeah,
but back in the day, it was a little controversial.
It was risque.
But that would be the other one that I could remotely say that animated stuff was creating feelings other than animated stuff. So anyway, we got down a wormhole.
Yeah, we really did.
That one. We're gonna play our interview we had here with Amy McVeigh talking about the Friends, the Holiday with Friends event that they've got coming up here on the 23rd at the Archives facility there. Y'all can do your research on Jessica Rabbit and the Cool World lady later.
I'm going to do that now. Research.
Yes. All right, it is 19 minutes. Oh, by the way, I watched the new Yellowstone last night, and I realized that it's been so long since I've watched the last that I was kind of lost last night. I'm like, what? That, and I don't want to say anything without spoiling things because they kind of they left you at a cliffhanger and leave you with this new one, and they answered at least one question. And you're just kind of like, oh, but I don't remember. I got to remind me. So I was like, oh, that's what happened. Oh, I forget. So I was a little lost, but I did watch last night's premiere there, and because we've watched it, we didn't start watching Yellowstone until like season 3 or 4 or whatever, and then got caught up and then watched it live, But we weren't one from the beginning. We started watching it after everyone said, you ought to check out this Yellowstone show, pretty good. And we're like, all right, we'll watch it, and start watching it. Anyway, I did watch the new one last night. It was pretty good, but there was such a long time between last season. I gotta remember. I'm like, maybe I should go watch the last episode because I'm like, why are we doing? What happened here again? Why is that? Oh yeah. So there was a lot of that for me last night with Yellowstone. But anyway, I did watch it pretty good, even though I was a little confused. All right, it is 9:20. Here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area today, and we're expecting sunshine with our high between 70 and 75. Overnight, a few clouds drifting through. We'll drop to about 40 on the overnight low. Another nice day coming up on Tuesday. Sunshine and low to mid 70s, except upper 70s around the Carlsbad area. Then on Wednesday, we're expecting it to be a little bit cooler, mid 60s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, did I refresh this? I did. Currently 50 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 68%. Winds are out of the north at 5 miles per hour. We are looking at sunny skies and a high of 70 for today. Winds will be out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. Skies will be mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 41 degrees and southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, partly cloudy early, then gradually just becoming full-on sunny. Warm tomorrow. Looking at a high of 74. Winds will be out of the northeast. Looks like around 5 to 15 miles per hour. For tomorrow night, clear skies, overnight low of 38 degrees. West winds at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 66 for a high. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday night, clear with an overnight low of 37. Thursday, sunny and 69 for a high. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 74. Saturday, pushing 80, sunny and 79. And then Sunday, we are looking at a 30% chance of showers, partly cloudy, 68 for a high there. All right, 9:22. We're going to take a 2-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Amy McVeigh-Tejas, talking about the Friends Holidays with Friends event. I'll get that right. Happening here on the 23rd. That's on the other side. Don't go away.
Attention, Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Ford knows recovering from an unexpected natural disaster is stressful, and our hearts go out to everyone who experienced loss due to the flooding. The damage left behind is devastating, but we're already seeing what it means to be Roswell strong, and we acknowledge and appreciate the heroic efforts of local authorities, first responders, and National Guard rescue teams. We've already received and continue to receive special shipments of new Fords and quality pre-owned vehicles available for immediate delivery during our massive Super Tent sale. It's at our temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. These new and pre-owned vehicles without flood damage are being offered to the public at unprecedented savings. We've instructed our staff to take any car in any condition. In fact, even if it doesn't run, we'll come get it and give you a generous allowance toward a new Ford or high-quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll work with your insurance company to help you get what you deserve at Roswell Ford's temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. Thank you.
It's football time. Time to lean back and enjoy the game in a new recliner. The time is now to see Glenn's Furniture during their gigantic recliner clearance sale. Choose from recliners for her, recliners for him, big man recliners, lift recliners, reclining sofas and love seats, all at clearance prices. Even if you're not a football fan, you'll love the selection and all the low prices you'll find. Plus, get free delivery and set up at Glenn's Furniture, corner of Alameda at Union, Roswell.
Are you ready to succeed? Earn your FFA certification through ENMU Roswell's Aviation Maintenance Technology Program. ENMU Roswell has the only FFA Part 147 airframe and power plant school in Southeast New Mexico. Receive commercial and general aviation training, hands-on training with Operation Aircraft, Boeing commercial experience, advanced composite repair training, and more. And ENMU Roswell offers in-state tuition for veterans too. Learn more about this exciting program on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here.
If you suffer from poganophobia, you would not want to attend a party with the following people: Kenny Rogers, Santa Claus, Willie Nelson, the cast of Duck Dynasty, and 2/3 of ZZ Top. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, Amy McVeigh-Tejas back with us. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
How are, first off, I don't know, I'm trying to think, have we talked since flood?
No.
First off, before we get to events and all that, how's the archives? How's the JP White home? As far as obviously they're still standing, but was there any significant damage or flooding?
In the spectrum of things, very minor, which to us minor is major because we just want to react and protect and preserve. Keyword preserve.
Absolutely.
So after the flood, we got very minimal in the basement. Did we get something in the basement? Yes, I think the majority of anybody downtown has got something, but very minor. We've reacted immediately, and I think Youth Challenge is going to come help us, scrub down a little bit, but we're fine there. Did have some little areas. We've got a lot of tarps down, again, just protecting. Had some minor, so God bless Do Right Roofing. Came out immediately, reacted, responded, and uniquely, just after this last rain, find a little bit more area. Mm-hmm. But all in all, we are so thankful. God is so good.
The home's been there for 100 plus years, and it's stood the test, and it's going to be there hopefully the next 100.
Yes. So, and then very minor things in archives. Again, we're finding areas, I think, like so many people around that have just little issues with the roof. So,
and unlike we are the historical society. Guess what? We study history. History has taught us some things that we did prepare a little bit.
So we did, and we've got sandbags out, we've got tarps down, and you know what? I was listening to your future weather. We're going to keep the tarps down, and we haven't done tours for a couple of weeks because we've moved furniture, not because it was major flooding, but to protect and get everything. Well, I'm thinking about it, Mike. Tomorrow is See You at the Pole.
Yes.
9 o'clock in the morning. So 9 o'clock in the morning. So that means, and the society will start doing that throughout the end, till the end of the year, less the holiday weekends. Pray from your home.
It's kind of...
And we just want everybody, I know other churches were going outside. What I have found is the Historical Society, and before I forget to, a huge shout out to anybody and everybody that donated to the Historical Society for relief aid. And we have a unique situation. One of our scholarship recipients is Barry Anderson from Grace, and he's been heading up that relief. So let me be clear. The first, right after, I was out of town when the flood happened. I drove into town immediately. Historical Society reacted. We were immediately at the fairgrounds doing things.
Yeah.
And I got a call yesterday. Why are y'all doing this? You know what? I think any nonprofit that's able and can link in, we have connected a lot of dots. We've helped some of our own family members, whether they're on Eisenhower, whether they're scholarship kids. We've connected dots. Anybody that gave a dime, thank you. And I'm going to shout out to Robin. Robin's my volunteer. And Mike, she had so much fun giving back. We've been totaling our spreadsheet, and I'm like, okay, we don't have any more money right now, so we're going to help in other ways.
Right.
And she's like, no. And she got out and wrote a check, and she said, no, we have to call and see what everybody needs. So she literally wrote out a $200 check.
Just to keep it going.
And you know what? It's not about dollars. People have given us a little and a lot. To me, a little is a lot because we just connect dots. So we could not sit back and not do. So anything, whether, I know John LeMay was down there at the Roswell Museum one day, our doors are open to help. And we need to help ourselves sometimes, but it's never going to be all about us. So any way we can help. So if somebody's listening and says, I don't know where to help. All I know is that help somewhere, whether it's $1, a dime, a nickel, penny, but you can call us and we'll connect dots. Because I'm going to tell you what, we pick up the phone and we say, do you need anything today? Yeah, it's little something, scrubbers. One day we spent $10. Well, the next day we might spend more.
It's the network. It's the neighborhood. It's the network community mindset.
And I'm honored to be a part of that.
And vice versa, it works the same way too. If there's something going on at the Historical Society, guess what? That community comes in and they come to our help too. That's
and we have not just helped at Grace. I've been honored to. What I love about this is, on behalf of this Historical Society, I am just reminded of our community and all of our churches and all of our friends. And the city hall, the city hall meeting the other day, it was so informative. It's not just us; it's we. It's all together. So, but praying at the pole, we'll do it every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. So if you're at your church and you're fixing to go out, do mucking. Yeah. Those words that I've never spoken all my life in Roswell, New Mexico, mucking. If you're going to do it, step out at your own pole or join from wherever you are. We've got people from Texas, Colorado, and Arizona, 9 o'clock tomorrow. So we will be at our pole. I don't know who's showing up, but somebody will.
And
wherever you are,
it's
just a reminder.
Make it even a little bit of a social
And I think it's bigger than that. We're honored to stand in front of the flag And you know me, Mike, I don't get political, but what I have learned is through character counts and history, one thing we're not going to argue about is that flag.
Yep.
We're going to honor the stars and stripes, and we're going to come together. And yes, we might be different walks of life, but I just love the camaraderie of coming together. So honor the flag, take a knee, moment of silence wherever you are. If you're Catholic, get on your knees. I've been doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, whatever you need to get closer. So every Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, come by the poll. And thank you to everybody that's helped make it possible, just for us to do our little part. And as far as I'm concerned, we'll keep doing our part. This is a long haul. And if people are asking questions, and I hope to have some answers, if I can connect it out with our members, say, Amy, where do I call or what do I do? I hope to connect a little.
Sure. Well, and it's kind of one of those things where, we're praying at the poll. It's praying. It'll evolve. One week we may be concerned more about flood stuff, but who knows, 6 months from now, whatever the needs of the community or the needs of whatever is going on at the moment shift. So maybe we're praying for something else. Maybe,
Yes. And while I'm thinking about it, too, pay it forward to somebody that's having a hard time. And a week from today, next Tuesday, take them out to eat at Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
They may have had a long day or whatever. Next Tuesday is Texas Roadhouse night.
Historical Society
night. So I just happen to think about that. We'll post our flyer. I don't have the flyer yet. You have to have the flyer showing. But next Tuesday, November the 12th, is Texas Roadhouse night at... It says Historical Society Night, Texas Roadhouse.
Absolutely. So what you do is you'll get the flyer, which we'll put up on Facebook and social media and the website and all that good stuff. And you got to have a copy of it, either an actual piece of paper in your hand.
That's right.
Or
the image.
A digital image on your phone.
And it's good for takeout.
And it's good for takeout as well. If you use the app, what you do is you use the app and order like you would. But when you get there to pick up your food, you show them the flyer and say, mine is through the Historical Society, and they'll tabulate your order.
That's exactly
as
right.
part of that. And then so 10% of your meal cost will go, they'll donate to the Historical Society.
Yes, and we'll be taking donations. We'll have more information about this event.
Yeah.
So if you have a question about our up-and-coming Historical Society's Holiday with Friends, we'll be there, too. I should be there most of the night.
But if you just go to sit down and have a meal and everything, just bring the piece of paper with you.
The paper.
And then, of course, if you want to, you can come up and visit Amy and get some information about the Holiday with Friends or anything the Historical Society does. So, absolutely. But that'll be 1 week from today, next Tuesday.
Week from today.
Yep. So polling today and then eating steak next week.
Polling today, praying tomorrow, staking on Tuesday.
Or chicken or fish or whatever.
And helping whenever, all the time, if we can. That's funny.
Absolutely. But, so this next event we want to talk about here is coming up November 23rd. And obviously with the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, the damage sustained from the flooding and all that, nothing's happening there. Well, one of the annual traditions is the Holiday Arts and Crafts Show. It's just part of that, and that's been canceled for this year because of that. So we've got some vendors that, and here's the thing, Historical Society...
We have had a booth at Holiday Magic since we've been part of it. So when I started...
Your family, there's a history here of the holiday.
Well, my sweet mommy is part of the Holiday crew. So it was a little, what I heard Mike, one of our sweet members called it, hey, can we do a little pop-up?
Yeah.
A little pop-up event. So somebody said, well, I didn't know anything about this. Well, Mike, I didn't either.
This is kind of just thrown legs here.
We got an email last
week,
and I know the long and hard decision. We're supportive of Holiday wherever they are and whatever they do. So I'd been praying because I knew they needed to make a decision. And throughout all this, we have to make hard decisions.
Absolutely.
So they're hard decisions. Some of our little members needed a place. Some of our little members of the society, and quite frankly, we needed a place.
Sure, and let's face it, these vendors that are part of Holiday, for them not to be able to sell is a big hardship on their personal finances.
Right.
This is what they rely on to pay the bills, to feed their family, to live their lives, and so to not have that is a big hurt for some of these folks. So this is kind of in lieu of, or let's...
I think it's just a little celebration. And some of our... let me be clear on the air. We never would do anything to offend anybody.
Absolutely.
It was a natural thing. How many can we smash it?
Sure. How can we help some of these people?
And how can we help?
Make them a platform where they can, at least because we can't do what we want to do, what can we do in lieu of that? Or what can we do to help offset that?
Well, and with the weather, I know we did not want to try to rely on weather. So we couldn't do outside. So 8 to 10 vendors with tables is really an easy flow and a safe flow to allow people. So we have got some fun peoples, some of our family peoples that are going to be there. And first, Deborah,
and some holiday magic staples.
100%.
That you come to expect to see every holiday magic.
Yes.
You will see it at this event.
See, the way I look at holiday magic, there's some of these that have been around since the beginning that you know are going to be there, and you know you're going to get that. And then there's all the extra little blessings in there. So we do have some staples and some of our members.
You turn on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, you better see Santa at the end. And if you know what I mean, it's that kind of same kind of tradition.
It is true. We all have a. But Deborah Lucas is a dear friend of the society. She's a great woman. I've been celebrating holidays since I was a little girl, thinking you can't have the holidays without Deborah Lucas. Like I was she's been amazing.
Her baked goods are the
pumpkin rolls, cookies, and she's going to do some candies. She was describing some fun extra little blessings. So if you think you're like, oh yeah, I know Deborah Lucas always does the cookies. Well, she was adding some, no pun intended, some little sugar on top, some other little.
Nice. All I need is the pumpkin roll. I like you say pumpkin rolls, I'm good. The rest of it, y'all can have it. Just give me the pumpkin roll, I'm good to go.
I definitely think with her, you need to follow her on Facebook or Instagram and place your order in advance. I don't know how much she'll have there on hand, so I know women have already been making sure they place the order, and you're going to pick it up.
People claiming dibs.
That's right. Hey, because I don't know how much she can fit in the society. No, but she probably could fill up half the.
I'm telling you, she could probably start her own, like, you know how they have like the Hickory Farm stores?
Yes.
She could start the Deborah Lucas baked goods stores, and they all would be cleared out. You know.
Contact her, follow her through Facebook. Danielle Gonzalez, she's there's really not a day or a week that she doesn't help the society do something. She's been on our board. I think the only reason she's not on the board is because she's so busy doing other things.
She's got a business she's running now.
She does.
She's got so many, irons in the fire.
She does, but she'll be there helping us with us. And I love Danielle's stuff because I think we all have that I love to celebrate our local. And you know what? Right now I'm seeing a lot, Mike. I love to see our New Mexico strong. It kind of pulls us together. But for that out-of-state gift, perfect. I think people love that. Angela Strange, they're another. There's really not a time in our event when the Stranges aren't involved with the Historical Society. She's got great gifts for kids. Trina Padilla, she has been part of Holiday Magic for a long, long time. She's got some great gifts. The Society will have our books. John LeMay and Donna Blake Burchell. We just found out Donna's able to come, which is great. She's got a new.
It's always nice when she can come up.
She's promoting her new Scoundrels book. I know John's got some new books.
She's got quite a few scoundrel books. She's got some scoundrels in her book.
They just start. I love it to celebrate all these little local scoundrels or whatever.
Yeah, she loves. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out some of her books. Because she loves to combine. I mean, not all of them, but she like the ghost stories and some of the
hotels,
the legend and lore of some of the
and from gems to wine. Yeah. Talk about she has got that.
The Wicked Women. That's part of her series too, as well.
Yes.
You know, we talk about some of the bad guys of New Mexico.
Right.
She covers the bad girls, and there's quite a few of them that have done some unsavory things over time.
And I love to have John and Donna together because the Hidden History book they did, they can both autograph that one. That's a great book.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a great book to, kind of like stocking stuffer things. So they'll both be there. Should Have Been Annie, that is Kim Conley. She does great hats. She's a great person and has a lot of fun and puts the personality, pop up the personality right on the top of the head from Fun Hats. So she's got a lot of fun things. Desert Cowgirls, beautiful turquoise jewelry we're really excited about. And then last but not least, we're going to add some spice to the life, right, Mike?
Can't have a New Mexico Christmas without a little heat, a little chili.
Come on, everybody needs chili in the stocking. So Pecos Valley Chili Company, this is going to be their only local show for 2024.
Okay.
So if you need to pick up your hot or mild or some
chili.
of both.
Yeah.
Or some of both.
If you've never had that stuff dumped on cream cheese with just like Ritz crackers or something.
Talk about simple.
Yeah, it's very good. It takes 5 minutes and it's very tasty and just, and all of a sudden you're a rock star. Like that's when like that unexpected company just rolls up and you're like, oh crap, people showed up.
Exactly.
So you pull out the brick of cream cheese, you dump the green chili sauce on there. pull out the crackers and say, "Oh, here, have some," and it's a 10 every time.
That's exactly right. And we will have a jar donations at the bottom of our flyer, and it's certainly not last on our hearts, but on as far as we're going to be celebrating Roswell Strong, Roswell Resilience. We'll have a donation jar there, and I would love to collect a lot of money and give back to these individuals.
Sure.
Any way we can.
And that's the
that
part right now with flooding and stuff.
Yep.
Where, you know, like for the most part, immediate needs are taken care of. You know, you got a place to sleep, you got food, you got, you know. But now we're dealing with the long-term stuff. Can I get back to my home? Can I get back to my life? What is that going to take? And in some cases, you know, they're going to have to level, destroy, you know, and so there's going to be a lot of more needs about that kind of stuff. Money, resources, financial aid, links to you know, to the big boys, your FEMAs and all that, which they're all, you know, kind of, you know, coming on board for long-term resolutions here. But that's where we're going to need to. So with this event here, if you'd like to make those kind of donations, and we kind of, you know, we may not know where this money's going to go yet, but we know it's going to go to something that's going to be a need here.
I'll assure you one thing. We've got a spreadsheet, and every dime is accounted for. And I think it will be nice to have up to date. And again, Robin's helping us total that up. I think literally we've spent every dime we've received so far. But again, that's part of who we are and will continue to be. So make sure and mark your calendars, November 23rd from 10 to 4 in the archive facility. We'll have our, say, a holiday event and it's a smaller area. So not everybody has to come right at 10, right, Mike?
It's
so
a
you
come
can
and go
sleep
event.
in. You can sleep in and come later. It's so funny to me, Mike, on these events, like everybody's standing at the door.
Well, and I'm not gonna lie, because like with Deborah Lucas being there, and there's just going to be that I got to get there as early as possible, so I make sure I get the baked good that I've been clamoring for the last 11 months.
It's true. That's
true. There's going to be a bit of that, but if you're there to Christmas shop or like if you're looking for gift ideas, and maybe you're not necessarily like, no, I gotta, I don't need a pumpkin roll. First off, you haven't had one. Once you say that, you'll be like, "No, you need a pumpkin roll."
Wrong with you?
But in case you've never had one, you don't know. You don't have that in your veins yet. You're not addicted to it. You can kind of come in a little bit.
But we'll be serving hot cider, and with any purchase, everybody gets a bag. We have some really nice historical society bags. So as
Amy
you
always
say, you got to leave with smile and blessings. Not everybody has to make a purchase to get a blessing. That's who we are. It's holiday season, so we'll be offering hot cider bags, a lot of fun things. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful day.
And try to, we can't recreate a holiday, and we're not even going to try to.
No.
But you know what? If we can offer an opportunity for some people to get together, check out some really cool stuff, help some of these families make a little money for the holidays, or make their money to do what they got to do, and then evoke the same fun and memories that we know is part of holiday. Coming for these certain types of food, or having conversations with these people that you sometimes only see once a year.
That's right.
That's all of that's going to be a part of this, even though it's going to be in the archive facility and about a thumbnail the size of the actual
That's
one.
right. It never was intended to out.
Yeah.
This is just a little pop-up to celebrate some holiday cheer. We will throw up some decorations literally at the last minute, literally. And we're going to throw up some holiday cheer and have a wonderful afternoon. And we're just excited for the opportunity. It's free admission. Somebody had asked about that. And somebody else said, do you have to have an invitation? This is not an invitation type event. It's nothing of that nature.
You have to have the ability to get there and the ability to come in and enjoy it. That's all you need. It doesn't require anything else.
Right. So. And if you need any information about any of these individuals, maybe to call in advance, maybe you want to place an order of a hat, or I don't know, or maybe Danielle Gonzalez to make sure, call the museum at 622-8333 or email me at historydirector@outlook.com. We'll be happy to give you additional information about any of these vendors, or if you have a special question. Or maybe you can't come, but you want to get in contact with somebody regarding this.
Because that's a lot of times where...
It's true.
Especially, if they're known for certain types of artwork or things.
Exactly.
You're like, hey, I love what you got this year.
Can you do that?
Or, God forbid, you get some pottery or something, and, life happens, something breaks, you're like,
for sure.
I know this is weird, but do you have a matching plate to this thing?
Well, that's right. Or earrings, or special earrings, or fun things.
Exactly.
And
life like that happens.
Yes,
from time to time.
yes. And if you're unable to come and you need autographed books, Donna Blake Birchall's a hard worker. She doesn't get to Roswell that much. Call us if you need autographed books. So hold them for an advance, and we can get that taken care of.
I always joke, she's the John LeMay of Eddy County.
She is. And they just are so, she's just part of our family. She's been a member, and this is what I love about her, because normally she travels and we help cover her expenses. And you know what? Of course, I said, Donna, now if you're going to, we need to cover expenses. She said, Amy, anything that you would have paid me to help cover, I want to go back to help with relief aid. So she said, cover my gas, whatever. Yeah. So she's just a member wanting to help. Yeah. And her mission is the same as ours. It's celebrating history. She's a great member doing great things.
Sure. And I imagine she's got like her favorite go-to restaurants here. So she it's just like, oh, now I have an excuse to go wherever that is.
Yes.
Whatever her proclivity.
Yes, which I certainly, I'll be there in the morning, and something tells me I may be footballing in the afternoon. There's a very good possibility. But I just love the fact that we're just going to all come together and have a fun little afternoon. And while I'm thinking about it, House of Flowers is a great supporter of the Historical Society, and their little event is their open house.
Okay.
Well, it's not a little event. They go all out. I stand corrected. Dee, Janet, if you're listening, they go all out. They do. I love. They're just a good supporter. I just think it'll be fun because they'll be right down the street.
Yeah.
So stop by House of Flowers. You can kind of do the event hopping. And there might be other things. I just love that they reached out and said, "Oh, we're so excited! You're doing something." They just want an afternoon for ladies to get out and celebrate the holidays. Well, men and women.
Go over here and get like some Deborah Lucas cookies or something,
true.
And then bring it over there and say, "Hey, I brought cookies."
And they have some good treats or whatever. So I think right now it's just nice to take a moment, celebrate the holidays, maybe get something for somebody else. And you're right, but they'll have treats and blessings, and we're literally a couple of blocks away. So we're just really excited to have some holiday cheer.
Absolutely, and of course, hey, come out to the poll tomorrow, and you know what? If you have questions about the event, Amy will ask you after we pray, of course.
That's
but she'll be happy to answer those questions.
Yes.
Anything about this kind
See you
of
at
stuff.
the poll, and if you can't make it tomorrow, it's any Wednesday, 9:00. Somebody else.
Every Wednesday.
What time? Yep.
It'll set your watch to at 9 a.m. Wednesday. Barring a blizzard or something, we're going to be out at the poll.
And I love it. We had Grace out there. We had Tom Blake. We had Father Yarrick, all it's just we're all coming together.
A lot of prayer rods there.
You better believe it. Some singing and some smiling, and we had a fun time.
Absolutely,
so.
And then of course our Holiday with Friends event, November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4. So all day there at the Historical Society's Archives facility, 208 North Lee, if you like to put it in your GPSs and all that good stuff.
And we'll have parking behind the museum. Somebody called me about that.
Yeah.
So just so you know, parking will be available right behind and on the side in the parking lot. So we'll have plenty of parking.
Yeah, we have a few parking spaces in the alley there. Of course, the parking lot between the archive and the JP White home, you could and if push comes to shove, if we get so packed. Right across the street there behind the All Subs, you can park right in there too for events. That's kind of a spillover there.
Pick up a couple of friends and stop by. It'll be fun.
Good deal. And RoswellNMHistory.org is the website. And of course, if you can't wait till the 23rd to do some holiday shopping, you'll find all of our books for Donna and John and even Elvis and some of our other local authors. Peter Hurd artwork and things like that will be available there through the website.
Yes, we've got some tarps down. Somebody called. Are we doing tours? You could do a tour. You'd step over some tarps right now. And again, it's not because we're leaking everywhere. But if you want to tour around tarps or if you want to buy a gift, we're fine. That's fine.
Those are protective tarps, not hiding tarps.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's not ugly underneath.
Yes.
It's, ooh, we don't want this to get wet that's underneath.
Yes. And if you're listening, we're fixing to have to make some hard decisions. It's that time to make New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy scholarships. If you're listening and want to give back to those amazing kids, I'm going to tell you one thing about those kids. They've been working their butts off helping muck and clean.
I'm about to say, I've seen
have been a lot of places. So they were at a member of the society's right down the street. If you could do one thing and give back to those kids, we would love to have more. So if you could make happen another scholarship, we'd be most grateful. We're still taking monies for that too. New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy scholarships are right around the corner.
I've seen nothing but pictures and stuff for the last 2 weeks of those kids at different locations helping out, cleaning up wherever, whether it's there on the base somewhere or at somebody's home somewhere else downtown.
And then they'll be there Friday honoring the flag with their color guard too. So they're everywhere honoring the flag and helping out. So if you can make future hopes and dreams come true, help support our scholarships too.
Absolutely. Good deal.
Did
we get it all?
Well, we'll just keep on going.
We got all for now. All for now. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime, and like
we
I said, if you have any
you.
questions, RoswellNMhistory.org is a great resource for pretty
or
much everything we talked
622-8333. In an emergency, I don't mind. Like if you can't get in touch with me, call my cell phone 575-915-4471. I am running around doing things and helping people, so I may not be at the museum.
Shoot her an email, historydirector@outlook.com, and she can probably access
if
on
you
the
have
phone and
archives
everything.
questions, I don't think we've mentioned that. A lot going on, a lot of working and researching. Call 622-1176. Leave a message. We'll get right back to you. A lot of working this week. I think they're going to be there this afternoon. If you have a question and have a direct need, somebody's going to be in the archives even today.
Okay.
Sure. Throughout the weeks, they're there 2, 3 more days whenever needed. But somebody's going to be in the archives this afternoon. So if you say, Amy, I need something right away, 622-1176.
We'll make it happen. Yep. And, of course, always looking for volunteers if you want to serve as docents or work as helping out with
I got a
work in
text
the
last
archives.
night, and somebody's going to be delivering flyers today, helping the society, and I'm like, yes.
Reach out.
I love it.
We got places for you to go.
For sure.
I'm sure John and Elaine would find all kinds of work in the archive side for you to work
Fred.
with. Yeah, or Fred.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred on grounds would definitely find some work for you.
The list is long and distinguished in all kinds of different ways. We can always use help. Thank you very much.
Good deal. Thank you, Amy. We'll,
happy day.
I'm sure you're off to stomp out the next fire.
Absolutely.
So we'll go do that.
Absolutely.
It is 8:51. Let's pause for news. Oh, real quick, before I get into news, I do want to mention this, that the folks at Gyra Ministries today, is over at First Baptist Church, they are open from 1 to 5 today. So if you need resources, they've been offering anything from clothing to the immediate needs to even more long-term links to solutions and things. The Gyra Ministries will be open 1 to 5 today. Again, that is at First Baptist Church here in Roswell.
Huge shout out to all the ministries doing what you're doing. Even Steve Stucker, he was everywhere.
I saw the beds. Yeah, he's got a
shout out to
beds
everyone.
for kids or beds.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of it,
but he was everywhere helping and doing.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to all ministries.
Absolutely.
We're coming together, and I love it. Makes me
Absolutely.
happy to be a Roswell.
But absolutely,
Roswell,
and we keep it going, and we need more of it. So. All right, 8:52. Let's pause for news, and looks like we got basically it's a computer thing, so I'm just looking at imported this, imported that. So we got news, we got updates, and all that up next. Don't go away.
Attorneys, though, presented evidence showing Romero was being repeatedly stalked and threatened by Jimenez in the months leading up to the killing. Romero even sought help from police multiple times and was granted a protection order from a judge in Curry County. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
With the
Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. Head coach Mike McCarthy responds to a star player taking exception to a social media post by a local reporter right after this.
Becky Hammond on Inspiration.
I hope it's an inspiration to girls out there, being the first woman to coach an NBA team. But I've always been more inspired by the future, not by what I've done, but by what's coming next.
What do you want to do next? Whether it's buying a home, growing your wealth, or protecting your assets, SWBC is here to support your next steps toward financial success with personalized service and expert advice.
Visit SWBC.com to take the next step toward your financial future.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger in Texas. And Reliant has the energy to power it all. From home field advantage to home sweet home, Reliant has Dallas Cowboys fans all across the Lone Star State covered for every electric moment this season and beyond. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
Following Sunday's frustrating loss at the 49ers, Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs took exception to a social media posting by a television sportscaster at the DFW ABC affiliate who questioned Diggs' effort in chasing down a 49er pass catcher. Diggs confronted the reporter outside the locker room immediately after the game and caused a further social media stir. Head coach Mike McCarthy reacted to the situation.
We have to be better in those moments. I always talk about staying on the high road. It's part of our responsibility. I am not ignorant or naive to the fact that, this generation, it's part of the world they live in. That's part of being a professional athlete, and that's part of representing this organization properly.
Diggs and teammates have today off, but McCarthy and his staff are putting together the game plan for this weekend's road trip to Atlanta. With your Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett. A natural gas utility with more than 2 million customers in Arizona, Nevada, and parts of California is being fined $2 million by regulators in Arizona over concerns about piping that is known to degrade in the heat. The Arizona Corporation Commission announced Friday that it reached a consent agreement with Southwest Gas that includes the civil penalty and requires more inspections. Entergy Mississippi has broken ground on a power station that ultimately will help power 385,000 homes across its 45-county service area. Thursday's groundbreaking of the Delta Blues Advanced Power Station in Greenville, Mississippi, is a $1.2 billion investment expected to be online in 2028. U.S. stocks cruised to more records as they closed their best week in a year. The S&P 500 rose 0.4% Friday to cap its biggest weekly gain since early November 2023. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 0.6%, while the NASDAQ Composite added 0.1%. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett in Washington.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area today, and we're expecting sunshine with our high between 70 and 75. Overnight, a few clouds drifting through. We'll drop to about 40 on the overnight low. Another nice day coming up on Tuesday. Sunshine and low to mid 70s, except upper 70s around the Carlsbad area. Then on Wednesday, we're expecting it to be a little bit cooler, mid 60s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Hey, Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Trustmark is one of the only roofing companies that's also a licensed commercial and residential general contractor.
Wow.
I know, who cares, right? Well, you should care. You see, a licensed roofer can install a new roof on your home, but really can't handle structural problems underneath. So if your roof needs reframing or your chimney needs a water-diverting cricket, you may need to call a licensed general contractor. And coordinating two companies for your roofing job can get costly and messy fast. As a licensed roofer and general contractor, Trustmark can install a stunning new roof on your home and handle structural issues. This saves you time, money, hassle, and even makes it easier to file an insurance claim. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit us at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
This is an important service update from Plateau for Roswell, Dexter, and Hagerman customers. We are aware that many of our valued customers in Roswell are experiencing service outages due to the recent weather event. Our teams are working diligently to restore services as quickly as possible. We understand how important staying connected is, and we appreciate your patience as we navigate these challenges. Please know that our top priority is getting services working safely and efficiently. Thank you for your understanding and support from all of us here at Plateau.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And good morning. We're closing in on 10 o'clock. That's about going to do it for us for today's show. If you missed any part, I invite you to check it out at your leisure. Log on to ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winter's channel. You'll find all of our interviews there. We had Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office join us in the 7 o'clock hour. Had a great conversation with him. We played our interview with Dara Dana, talking about the Daughters of American Revolution placard dedication happening this afternoon at 1 p.m. at the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. And then, of course, we just replayed our interview with Amy McVeigh-Tejas talking about the Holiday with Friends event happening at the Archives facility there on November 23rd. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of it. Thank you to all of our veterans for your service. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Take care.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. At Arlington National Cemetery, taps being played on this Veterans Day. President Biden on hand for the ceremony honoring our nation's veterans. In observance of this special day, banks will be closed, as will the Postal Service. President-elect Donald Trump naming his border czar. Donna Warder has more.
President-elect Donald Trump has named Tom Homan as the border czar in Trump's incoming administration. Homan served as acting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director in Trump's previous administration. Trump has pledged to launch the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. He wrote on his Truth Social site on Sunday that in addition to Homan's overseeing the southern and northern borders and maritime and aviation security, he'll be in charge of, quote, all deportation of illegal aliens back to the country of origin, end quote. I'm Donna Warder.
President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump will be meeting Wednesday in the Oval Office. That word comes from the White House. Also at townhall.com on NBC's Meet the Press. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says the election shows the Democratic Party failed to address the concerns of most American voters.
They have a right to be angry. In the richest country in the history of the world, today the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and millions of families worry that their kids are actually going to have a lower standard of living than they do.
That's Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders on NBC's Meet the Press. On Wall Street, stocks are now mixed. The Dow adding 376 points, but the NASDAQ down 4.